for it.
This poem is not a poem because they say I didn't write it. This poem is a poem in my head because I define what is poetry. This poem is written by all of us because we contribute our presence to this moment. This poem may win awards or float down the drain, but the most important thing is I gave life to this poem. This poem is me saying to you, I love you. You are God. Don't let anyone tell you any less. Live your dreams. Do whatever you want to do. Be you. Be the poem. Thank you.
Thanks, Fongo. That was beautiful.
Thank
Gliela
you,
Zavakwena.
Fongo. Yeah.
Gliela
So
Zavakwena.
happy you were able to spit and drop
Gwenya.
in on us.
Gwenya.
Starting us
Thank you
off.
very much, Magus.
Mzilankata. Ncube enkulu.
Siyabonga, nibe nobusuku obuhle.
Nawe. Mzilankata. Mbangazit.
Greetings,
Beautiful.
beloved poets, and welcome to Chaos Magic. I'm so excited to have you here with us this evening. We're going to get a little early start because we have kind of a full room already. So usually we start around 8:15, but we're flexible here. So let's get started with Sfongo, and his wonderful poem is the poem. And I have a notice for everyone. I got 3 books in the mail this week. I got Debby Segal's Edwin in the Embrace of Entropy. And I got Mark Fishbein's fantastic Reflections in the Time of Trumpius Maximus. If you want to relive the Trump administration, or even if you don't, this is the book to get. And I got Stephanie Eisner Vance's Made of You. It's spectacular, and I'm going to be reading from it tonight as my cover poem to close the evening out. So, a few administrative things that you all know by now. Everybody's familiar with the scene here. We encourage you to bring 1 cover poem and 1 original, but we do not require it. Do as thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Oh, I see you have a cover poem already for us. All right. Zomkhonto. So, no hate speech, no bullshit. It's all love. Love is the law. Love under will. Let's get going tonight. Our first performer is Dre Reyes. Dre, do you have some magic to share with us?
Oh, yes, I do.
Indeed.
Hello, everybody. Happy Monday or Tuesday. Dre Ray coming at you from New Hampshire again. Just got back from Puerto Rico. I guess you could say that's the devil's back in New Hampshire and he's coming to collect his dues. With that said, I got a proper poem here. Now, let's see what we got here. So this is like a mishmash of some creative process and inspiration from real life. I've read this poem before back, I want to say, in like the early days of Chaos Magic. It is a 3-piece poem that's supposed to be like 3 journal entries, fictional journal entries of wrestler Chris Benoit. And if you know anything about Chris Benoit and the tragedy, the double murder suicide, yeah, I went kind of in a different direction here. I kind of inspired by Resident Evil journal entries. Good game series. Anyway, this is called Crossface, and I do not promote the dude whatsoever. I just want to make sure that's out there. 1. Monday, March 15th, 2004. I never knew how I would feel winning the big gold in the main event of WrestleMania 20 last night. What an adrenaline rush it was. Feeling energy of a hot sold-out Madison Square Garden, a prestigious mecca of sports events where some of the biggest bouts and moments in pro wrestling history have taken place. Looking back now, that match felt like a blur, except for the finish, as if linear time fucked itself. Paul did a great job milking the submission, and his timing with the tap out was spot on. The moment the ref called for the bell, I was overcome with so much emotion. For nearly 20 years, I've busted my ass all over the world, mastering my craft, making a decent living, and worked with some of the greatest of all time. Not everyone gets to be world heavyweight champion. Not everyone gets to be in the main event of WrestleMania. At one point after my neck surgery in 2001, I thought that these may be just vivid pipe dreams, feeling down, taken out on the people I love, but somehow kept at it and made the best of whatever was given to me. Although what we do is predetermined, I know I've earned my spot in this company. When I was given the belt and had my arm raised, the effects of the match started to kick in a tad, but that crowd, that electricity powered me through to pose with the belt at a corner, completely caught unaware. My brother Eddie was waiting for me to turn around. We would embrace with our world championships in a downpour of confetti. But what capped off the night was being able to share this moment with Nancy and Danny Boy in the ring. The last year or so have been hell for us, mainly my fault. I feel like whatever happened last night may have been my redemption. I want to stay on this path. 2. Thursday, November 17th, 2005. I still can't believe you're gone, Eddie. Even after watching your casket descend 6 feet under, misty-eyed and utterly heartbroken. You were the closest to a blood brother I ever had. I knew when I was in a ring with you, I could trust my life in your capable hands. You've been a big help in keeping me in check, the best support system when I'm having issues with my family. But I gotta tough this out somehow. The show must go on, as they say. However, I still feel bad for knocking you out that one time in Japan with a stiff kick. But at the same time, if it wasn't for that kick, I wouldn't have gotten to know my best friend in and out of the ring. Karma and irony has bit my ass hard as I've been plagued with many head injuries throughout my career. Mostly my fault. There's something about that diving headbutt that feels good when my body soars in the air like Dynamite Kid. It's quite a rush when I hit the mats, regardless if I hit my target or not. But shit happens. There's something about bumping that feels oddly therapeutic. Either that or the painkillers and HGH are doing a number on me. I don't know. Maybe Nancy was right. Maybe something is wrong with me. I've been feeling so detached and so pained, and it feels like I have no one in the locker room to console me. It's been less than a week, but I just can't imagine being able to fill this hole in my life or for anyone to take the role of best friend at any point. You saved my marriage. I just wish I could have saved you, amigo. 3. Sunday, June 24th, 2007. Nancy and Danny Boy are dead. I told them that they were sick with food poisoning, that Nancy was vomiting blood, that Danny Boy too was vomiting, that I would meet up with Chavo in Houston upon arrival. I've tried to fix this, but nothing is working. I tried researching the story of Elijah, the resurrection of a young boy. I tried prayer and left copies of the Holy Bible next to them. Resurrecting lives is not the same as resurrecting careers. I don't know what to do. I texted Chavo and a few others my address and that the dogs were in the enclosed pool area and that the back door was open. There's only one way to fix this. I found the quickest and most painless way to leave this earth. I fucked up, Eddie. Forgive me, God. I have sinned. I will see you soon. Poem. Thank you.
Hey, Dre, could you come back on camera for just a second and show us all how gorgeous you look in that outfit? You look so fly, my friend. Wow. Love the hat, love the glasses. You have a look to you tonight,
I just felt kind of flashy. I don't know. Coming back after
right?
a trip, I feel
Right?
rejuvenated.
How was the trip?
It was magnificent. And I don't know if you were on Open Minds on Friday, but I was putting over um the Poet's Passage in Old San Juan. They have such an incredible venue. It's basically a venue that's inside like a 500-year-old building. It's living, breathing art. It's like it's a different vibe. And if you ever find yourself in the San Juan area, Tuesday nights, 7 to midnight, they have a free admission open mic and it's bilingual. Show up, do your thing. And yeah, they've been doing this since 2005. And I gotta say, in all the different places I've been to, this is like the most comfortable vibe I've felt. Even more comfortable than the Lizard Lounge. But yeah.
Very cool. Okay, next up on the mic, we have Stephanie Eisner. Vance, very excited to see what you have to bring to the mic tonight. Share some magic with us, will you?
Happy to. Just a small correction, easy mistake to make. It's Eisler, not Eisner.
Eisler, sorry.
Eisner. Very, very less common, much less common than Eisner. But
As you may know, I'm a stickler for my name being pronounced correctly. So I am down with your name being pronounced the way you want it exactly. Yes. Sorry.
great, no worries. Okay, my nerves have been all over the place today, so we'll see how this goes. I wrote this morning. So we got some new shit. It's a sweet little ditty, I think. And it's called Conversations About Things I Hate. Let's talk about birds, about flight and unpredictability, about dreams above the clouds and over a double rainbow. Let's talk about crunchy peanut butter, about things that remind me of my father, about thoughts that get stuck to the roof of your mouth and in between your teeth and the bliss that can be found there. Or what about grapefruit, which I think tastes like feet, or what I imagine feet to taste like, but I'm probably in the minority there, and isn't perspective wild? What if we spent an entire afternoon talking about running? Pointlessness and recursion, self-torture and self-importance, the utter lack of imagination. You can meditate sitting still, you know, but you also can on the move, and I don't know, maybe they're onto something. Let's talk about all the things I hate, show you my uncharitable side and how given enough time, it starts to look a little upside down. Everything has a bottom, but everything has a reason too. It is a big, wide world, and I hate what I hate, and that's not a good enough reason not to talk about it, not to see the other side. Let's talk about the things we hate and find a way to see in them love. Poem.
Awesome.
Thank you.
That is not a good enough reason to not talk about them. Stop playing, man. Like no, for real. Like we often hide behind these new things that we acquire, whether they are material or immaterial, whether it's yoga or some kind of thing, but just avoiding to go back and listen to the voices that are still speaking in the back of our minds and to quiet them with confronting them. The only way to quieten them down is to confront them. Thank you for
Absolutely.
your poem, my love.
Thank you. Thank you. That was beautiful. Okay, I have a found poem today. I played by the rules today. This is from Ada Limon from her book Bright Dead Things. The blur will dun, 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 dun. And this is slightly different tenor than the poem I just read. So it's called What Remains Grows Ravenous. I'm afraid that I won't do the right thing in the face of disaster. Or I'm afraid I will be stupidly brave. I'll pull the helmet off the fallen when you're supposed to leave it on in case it's holding things together. Also, I like to discuss my feelings too much. The only thing I've learned about a home death is that it requires a lot of washcloths. When we started to make a home together, he liked a lot of washcloths, the small, cheap kind for every day you're alive. Sometimes I would have dreams that she was still alive and I couldn't find enough washcloths to help her to clean her face, the tumor's foul black spit up. I'd wake and fold all our new towels as neatly as I could and pile them in high piles so you could see them in case there was an emergency. What I didn't like was how people talked to me now that I was no longer single. They were nicer. Men who never looked at me would start up a conversation like I was suddenly some safer form of fire. When my dad became a widower, women brought meals and wine and pies. The word widower looks like window, something you can see yourself in the dark. We fell in love around the same time, which seemed right and also wrong. Look at us, living. They met at the same time, his and mine. I didn't realize it, but I was wearing my dead stepmother's sunglasses. His new love was stunning and kind, and I tried to imagine I was seeing her through her eyes, like looking up from the bottom of a pool. No one wants to be remembered for their death, or rather, I don't. So why do I remember hers and remember hers? I think I did everything right. Someone told me I should have told her all the things that she had done to hurt me before she died, but I didn't. Still, I lost her face. Months later, when we went on our first date, I tried to seem put together. I wore a shawl she had given me and her ring. I thought everything was behind me, death and dying and sickness. I didn't know I was changing my life, that I would have done anything, that what was left of me would become so ruthless to survive. Poem.
Wow, Stephanie. You ain't playing. That was amazing. Like, holy
Yeah, that
shit.
one,
You
like,
know, one of the
Open
best
up your
things that,
mics.
one of the best things that ever happened is the closer. You know, the reference to the ruthlessness. You know,
mm,
because it's always an irony between ruthlessness and love, right? And oh yeah, that was a beautiful closer. That's love, respect.
I can't take credit, but yeah, I love it too.
Great read though. Great
Thank
read.
you.
Wow,
Thank you.
Stephanie, thank you. Awesome.
So beautiful. So up on the mic next, we have Marianne Tefft. Marianne, could you bless us with some words?
Pleasure. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for having me, Magus and Catalyst and Poet Friends. In honor of National Poetry Month, I have been trying to do a little something to encourage my students here to write some poetry. And today we were talking about rhyme scheme, and one of my 10-year-olds came with this. And when I told him about the open mic tonight, he begged me to please read his poem. And this is especially for you, Magus. Donald Trump is so dang dumb, he has an orange for a bum. When you see his spray-on tan, you think he looks like overcooked ham. So there you are. We're trying.
What a
Maybe not
delightful
deathless
cover.
prose,
Oh
but the
my
right idea.
God. That was written by a 10-year-old?
Yes.
How extraordinary. Wow. Oh my gosh.
The
Tremendous.
overcooked ham line. Oh, gee.
I thought it
Yeah.
was great.
Like this
You
kid
know,
is
but-
gonna be the next like Robert Rouser. We ain't
Yeah.
we
So that's what we're
even-
dealing with.
We
The-
shouldn't
the-
wait. We should take this kid to the UN and let him say something.
You know, he went on the Montessori mock UN trip at the end of February. So he's already
you told
been
me
over
that.
there
You told me
letting
that.
folks
Oh,
know
yeah.
what he thinks
Yeah.
about things. But anyway, we tried to do our bit for the AABB rhyme scheme, and there he came with that. So thank you, everybody, for enjoying that. And I'm up here in Toronto, still being entirely colder than I would like. So I am hoping that July will soon come. So I'd like to read you a poem of my own from the as yet unpublished Barricade Moon called Caress. In the garden of the thunder moon, my beloved blooms beneath the warm fall of rain that descends in blinding sheets from my body. Burnt almonds abandon his palms like glad diamonds. Sweet mocha lavishes the tongue that drinks from the cup of his neck. Bittersweet chocolate bites the lips that trace his ribs. Molten caramel caresses hips and thighs until the jubilant mahogany forest raises hymns that pierce the gossamer canopy to froth and foam toward the stars. Thank you, friends.
Oh, I got a mouthful of imagery. Thank you. That was amazing.
Just gorgeous.
Thank you.
I love it
Yeah.
so much.
Everybody, open your mics. Give some love to Marianne Tefft.
Very good.
Marianne writes.
Home towards the
Marianne writes from the
Mwah.
bottom of the emotion, and then like enters the mountain peak of the emotion, and from there paraglides right into the sea of the emotion. Much love.
Well, thank you again, Marianne.
Okay. Awesome. Next up, Generalissimo Brian Franco. Will you share some magic with us, Generalissimo?
Yes. In an act of laziness, I did not want to find a book with a poem in it to read. So I just texted Debby Segal to send me a poem of hers and said, this is a poem of Debby Segal's that I will read first, and then I'll read a new poem of my own. And this is called All by Myself, I Survey the Territory. Who can I show up for and show compassion towards when the person who needs compassion seems to be me? I have been self-disparaging now for so long, putting myself down, thinking I'm always wrong. As the master teaches, I am also a precious jewel, the only me in the universe, perfectly meing, so I can show up and show compassion to me that looks like being kind and not critical to myself, to see my imperfections as part of being human and to feel connected to the other humans, not isolated due to my flaws, to hold thoughts and feelings even when they hurt, not to push them away, to treat myself with warmth in hard times, to protect myself against rumination, to confront my own inadequacies in difficult situations, framing them as a part of life we all go through, to give support to myself as if I were my own best friend during hardship, to accept pain and loss as part of the human condition, to engage in self-appraisal with kindness and honor my humanness, to value my pursuit of happiness and my aversion toward suffering, and behave accordingly, to be an internal empathizer, exploring my own experience with curiosity, to be in a gentle relationship, allowing all parts of my being to forgive myself. I am also a shining star, the only me in the whole universe, precisely, perfectly meeting, and I can show compassion toward myself as I survey the territory all by myself. Dharma cannot be reduced to a self-help technique, because Dharma cannot be reduced. When someone seeks the Dharma, they will not seek it in a self-help technique. Who am I to judge the path of another? I am just another nobody, the only me in the universe, precisely, perfectly me-ing. That was by Deborah C. Segal. And I get the top of the page with the title. I just found it today. All by myself, I surveyed the territory. And this is a band piece that I wrote today. Oops, that's that one, which has yet to have a title. I think the time I took a Category 5 shower, you'll understand that later. It's been such a long, long time since I wrote a poem that started as a song. It's been way too long since I've done that. It's been such a long, long time. Oh, wait, that's not what's coming on. Yes, it's been such a long, long time since I always walked around with a comp book and a pen so I could never lose a thought or sing them so loud my showers became hurricanes. It's been such a long, long time since wanting to keep my eyes open. Oh, I'm sorry, what just happened here? Since I've woken wanting to keep my eyes open so I can exist in a dream that only exists in my sleeping subconscious. It's been such a long, long time since I've let myself believe a waking dream can come true. It's been such a long, long time since I've tried to sing a poem because either I lost my voice or maybe it ran away from home. And whenever I try to sing, I need to scream, but all my words are silenced. It's been such a long, long time since I've made my bed and not made a mess of my life instead. It's been such a long, long time since I believed in sunshine and blue skies, or rainbows, or pots of gold, or dreams coming true. It's been such a long, long time since I've let myself scream or let myself sing because maybe I just misplaced my voice in a secret junk drawer. It's been such a long, long time since I fell asleep, not afraid of what I dream and not afraid of waking with my eyes wide open on a day when the clouds are gray and the sun is on vacay. But I must still make myself wake to exist another day. Thank you.
That was hot new shit. Wow. Very good. Oh my God. Love it.
But,
Oh,
but what about
yeah,
that piece by Debby Segal? Holy fuck.
That too.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Debbie.
But also, shout out to Debbie, but also Generalissimo. Feel so happy to be in your army, sir. One love.
Gracias.
Indeed. Yes. I love how this format is cross-pollinating various artists within our own community and without. I love that we are taking other artists and making their poems more widely available, more widely heard. I love this format and I love you all. Next up on the mic, we have Catman Bill, whose book, Donald Trump, is absolutely incredible. This book is just so good. Catman, will you share your magic with us?
Well, I sure will, if I can.
Super duper.
After almost cannibalizing myself by accidentally chewing on my tongue today. Um, that's a longer story. Anyway, I will start with a song called Prisoners of Love. It was written after a couple that were in the newspaper in the spring of 2022. And the man was a prisoner in a small town in Alabama, and his prison guard was well, watching him. She was wooed by him. She wound up freeing him, and they went on an 11-day run across country. And U.S. Marshals caught up with them in what do you call it? Indianapolis. No, was it Indianapolis? No, I don't know. Somewhere up north, Indiana, and pushed them into a ditch. And the last thing Vicky, who was his prison guard, said, well, the last thing she did was she pulled out her gun and shot herself. And so ended. They weren't even Bonnie and Clyde. He was a mad dog killer from the darker side. She just wanted a short time thrill. 11 days gone by, then a roadside kill. Vicky White was indeed in love. Fatal attraction was all it was. Threw it all away one last time, no thought to the bottom line. They weren't even Bonnie and Clyde. He was a mad dog killer from the darker side. She just wanted a short time thrill. 11 days gone by, then a roadside kill. She was a prison guard, you could say it well, as Casey conspired from his prison cell. Said he was her special man, then devised his breakout plan. They weren't even Bonnie and Clyde. He was a mad dog killer from the darker side. She just wanted a short time thrill. 11 days gone by, then a roadside kill. Cadillac is the best in line. They took to ride in one last time. Cadillac car, you and me will take. Ride to the grave, then they'll bring out cake. They weren't even Bonnie and Clyde. He was a mad dog killer from the darker side. She just wanted a short time thrill. 11 days gone by, then a roadside kill. Thank you. And my next piece is called Sing for the Elephants and Rhinos, and hopefully finally after many years putting together a concert that will be streamed globally to address elephant and rhino poaching. So this is called Sing for the Elephants. For their matriarchal clan, we need a pen on ivory, but we don't need this in our hands. The poacher cuts the rhino's face to sell for some manly game. The savagery continues, it's time to end this game. Sing out from Connecticut and across the USA. Sing out from Sri Lanka. We need to stop this pain. We'll march in the daylight, make music in the night. Help us in this tragedy. Sing out for their lives. Sing out from Tokyo and under the hot Nairobi Sum. Sing out from Toronto, united all as one. Sing for the elephants, for their matriarchal clan. We need a pen on ivory, we don't need this in our hands. Sing out from Sydney, Hong Kong and Rome. Sing out from Sao Paulo and bring the message home. We can lift up our voices, both large and small. If we sing together, we'll surely meet the call. Sing out from London, Mumbai and Moscow. Sing out from Cape Town and Buenos Aires too. Sing for the elephants, for their matriarchal clan. We need a pen on ivory, we don't need this in our hands. The poacher cuts the rhino's face to sell for some manly gain. The savagery continues, it's time to end this game. Sing out for the elephants, for their matriarchal clans. We need a pen on ivory, we don't need this in our hands. We don't need this in our hands. Thank you. Just as a side, my friend and contact in Cape Town just told me on the phone yesterday that somewhere in I think South Africa, 30 elephants were killed on account of overpopulation or some such excuse. So for so many different reasons, more effort needs to be drawn to this issue. Thank you.
Indeed, Catman. I love elephants. I love that song. Beautiful work. Everybody open your mics for Catman Bill.
Yes, yes, Catman.
Beautiful, Bill.
Wow,
Amazing.
wonderful.
You make me happy. You
Most
make
of
me
those
happy.
elephants are driven out into the population by colonizer people that own the land and know that they have no more use of them, so they push them out into the population. So they get lost out there, or they are within the compound and they get the ivory from them because now they've kept out the other people from this space, and then they sell the ivory to China and all of those spaces. So let's not get it wrong with that. It's not poachers or in Africa doing this thing. It's actually colonizers doing this shit and selling the ivory over there and making so much dough. Thank you.
Absolutely. A man named Anton Zumba was a chief ranger in South Africa, and he was training other rangers. It was his life's call. And knowing how effective he was, the poachers shot him to death in front of his family. That happened only 2 years ago. And so it's continuing.
What a tragic story. Oh my God. Thank you for sharing with us, Catman Bill. Thank you so much for sharing your magic with us here at Chaos Magic. Next up on the mic, CP Mays, are you ready to perform?
Yes, sir. If you can hear me.
I can hear you loud and
Awesome.
clear, buddy.
Okay. So, like most of the open mic, I'm just gonna have my headphones on walking around the house because the kids got like star testing and this other shit to prep for tomorrow. But today's reading I want to dedicate to someone who strictly off of poetry, while they're way out in Maui, I'm way out in Houston, and it's 2 hours, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm reading poems sitting on the toilet seat in the bathroom with the lights off as not to wake my family 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm sharing poems with Mattie. And we came together on one poet named Buddy Wakefield. Buddy Wakefield, the year I took third in the world for performance poetry, he beat me out and took first. Hell of a cat. Mattie took workshops with him, so I'm gonna just make Mattie feel better by reading one of his poems. Buddy Wakefield, he's like a 3-time world champ. Hell of a man. It's called Convenience Stores. We both know the smell of a convenience store at 4 a.m. like the backs of a lot of hands. She sells me trucker crack, mini thins. It's like Viagra. She doesn't make me feel awkward about it. She can tell it's been a long drive and it's only gonna get longer. Offers me a free cup of coffee, but I never touch the stuff. Besides, I'm gonna need more speed than that. We notice each other's smiles immediately. It's our first thing for people to notice, our smiles. It's all either one of us has to offer. You can see it in the way our cheeks stretch out like arms, wanting nothing more than to say, you are welcome here. She shows brittle nicotine teeth with spaces between each one. Her fingers are bony, no rings on it. She loved to get her nails done someday. One time, she had her hair fixed. They took all the grease out and made it really big on top and feathered it. She likes it like that. She'll never be fully informed on some things like, I'll never understand who really buys moon pies or those roly, wrinkled up, dried up sausages. But then again, she's been here a lot longer than me. She's seen everything from men who grow dreadlocks out of their lips to shit. For men who grew dreadlocks out of their top lips to children who look like cigarettes. I give her my money, I wait for my change, but I feel like there's something more happening here. I feel like a warm mop bucket on dirty tiles that are never come clean. I feel like these freezers cannot be restocked often enough. I feel like the trash cans of candy wrappers with soda pop dripping down the wrong side of the plastic. I feel like everything just got computerized. I feel like she was raised to say a lot of stupid things about her color, and I feel like if I were to identify myself as gay, this conversation would stop. It's what I do. I feel. I get scared sometimes. And I drive. But in 1 minute and 48 seconds, I'm going to walk out here with a fresh tank of gas, a bottle of mini thins, and a pint of milk, while there's still a woman trapped behind a Formica counter somewhere in North Dakota who says she wants nothing more than to hear my whole story. All 92,775 miles of it. I can feel it though, y'all. She's heard more opinions and trucker small talk than Santa Claus has made kids happy. So I only find the nerve to tell her the good parts, that she's been the kindest thing to happen since Burlington, Vermont. And I want to leave it at that because men who are not smart have taken it farther, have cradled her up like a nutcracker and made her feel as warm as a high school education on the dusty back roads or a beer in the koozie. I feel like she's been waiting a long time for one who come two-stepping through those doors on 18 wheels without making her feel like it's her job to sweet up the nutshells when she's been cracked again. Who won't tempt her to suck the wedding ring off his dick, but will simply show her love. She doesn't need me or any other man, but she doesn't know that either. And I'm just hoping like crazy she doesn't think I'm the one, because the only time I'll ever see North Dakota again is in the that Van Morrison song. Late at night, I promise y'all. I feel like she's 37 years old. We're in 51, badly dying inside. Like a certain kind of dances around fires to speak through you, a forest. If you wouldn't so taken with sparks. But she was never given those words. She's never been told that she could definitely change the world. She knows some folks do, but not in convenience stores and not with lottery tickets. So I finally asked what I've been feeling the entire time I've been standing here still, getting scared like I do sometimes, really ready to drive. I asked, is this it for you? Is this all you'll ever do? Her smile collapsed. The tightly strapped in pasty skin went loose. Her heart fell crooked. She said, not knowing my real name, I can tell, buddy, by the many things in the way you drive, we both been taken with novelty. We both believe in mean gods. We both spend our money on things that break too easily, like people. And I can tell you've been and you had it rough, so you should especially know it's what I do. I dream, I get high sometimes, and I'm gonna roll out of here one day. I just might not get to drive. Convenience Store by Buddy Wakefield.
Love you.
Love you back.
Yeah, you
The
read
way
the
you
hell
ate
out
that,
of that.
Yeah,
The
he's
way
a
you
phenomenal
ate
poet.
that, that was grandma's cookies, though. Jeez. Like grandma just put the poetry cookies right in front of you. And you ate that shit. Dang.
Yeah, it's a crazy poem.
I need you to send me that poem, please.
Okay, yeah, I will, and I'll send you the audio to watch him do it.
Yeah.
It's just mind blowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too, please.
Yeah,
definitely will. Definitely
Thank
will.
you.
He's amazing.
Oh,
You
The
have
original poem,
for us?
yes, the original is new. It's new booty, fresh out the pamper. So I'm trying to make sure it's the shit. And I've been working on it, and I think I read it to Mattie, and she's been giving me positive reinforcement about it, I think. It's called Beautiful Agony. And it's a line that I've slept on for 14 years, y'all. A line that I've been so fucking scared of that I haven't wrote anything around it, because the line, I was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do after this line? So here's the poem. The wind was blowing tell me you love me's across the promise me you'll never forget that these are not birthmarks, darling. Heaven just left hifky marks at the nape of my neck. Tender satin scarf French kiss of fine art flesh. The streetlights were eavesdropping on our halos. The streetlights were wondering why. The skyline was wondering why I can't seem to hold eye contact with constellations anymore. I was palm wandering across the universe of untangle me breakdowns, y'all. I just want God to give me shortcuts on side streets or better highway directions on how to find my way back to his house again. Breathe the scent of our swirling rose petal summer skin. Candle-lit lovers spit all over my sometimes. I just read you wrong and I'm sorry for that. Sweetheart, my so sads are so sorry for my so often. I'm so often so sorry, are so sorry for all of my. I'm so sorry for that. I'm so sorry for how my hands maneuver around the curvature of your table of contents body, bookmarking my past mistakes, lost like looking around for the any next chapters. I'll be blessed by thee. Please let me be in the manuscripts of your dot finally frisky, wishing dream well scented in of and of birthday, sexy suit fit of fragile, of firm form, wet angelic silhouette, sweating of a miracle in your media shower mouth smile. Sexy is a dot. Please tell me if I'm worthy of another chapter to be written in, or written off, or written out, or written down, or good riddance now. Yesterday, y'all, I flipped the bird towards one of my fragile backbones, realized that the mirror's just a professional liar and karma's just a blank check. Life is a bitch who I can't keep wet. Gamble on yourself even if it's a poker face bet. Sexy is, oh my God, my catharsis. It's a comet tail. I hitchhike through the galaxy of your grin on. Your mouth is a miracle heaven doesn't make anymore. Your mouth, mi amore, your tongue has become a bully in the back of my throat. Your French kiss is a parole board freeing me from my bad convictions. Your two thighs, two lips, a two-strike pitch. My tongue plans on hitting a home run through your house. It's a heart I've packed my bags and left from way too many fucking times. The fever of your feminine, sexy scripture sweats. My favorite across sensual skin nipples. My favorite font. I want to dip all of my typeface into the narcotic liquid of your silhouette, just to write, rewrite, and edit myself back into the nape of your neck. Deep dive underwater wishing wells with you until I owe you every vowel in my breath. Hashtag respect. Hashtag I'm a fucking train wreck. Hashtag I love with no regret. Hashtag you are my no regret. Sexy. Sexy is an insult to the skin you wear. Poem.
Jesus Christ.
Woo!
Oh,
How long does it take you to recover from these recitals you do? Good God, it takes me
Give
a
him some
minute.
Gatorade. He'll be
It
right
takes
back
me a
on
minute
it.
just to get my breath. Wow.
I think we all just had a pogasm.
Hey,
Yeah.
I need a
the
cigarette.
FBI just like knocking on your door right now, like
Oh,
CIA trying to find, trying to pick out your rhyme books and yo, we know you're planning something. What is
the crazy part is I remember memorizing a poem for this World Literary Festival I was doing, and I'm in my bedroom and the window's like on the other side of the room, maybe 10 feet away, and I'm just practicing my poem until I heard a noise and I look. I promise y'all, the Houston Police Department was driving slow motion by my window because they were like, I don't know if somebody's getting beat, somebody's about to get shot. Why is this guy yelling in the room? Like somebody called the cops, and I thought like I was going to jail for real over a poem. I was about to get booked over a poem.
When we was talking about this, like the very depth of what you have done as a Marine, when you switch over to poetry, you're now exposing them. You know what I mean?
Right.
So they know that you know something.
Right.
Then that switch over is like they will never ever actually let you go because they will always want to know what you're saying inside those poems. And I'm glad that you're saying them because all of our conversations, I know that you have something that is so golden that even diamonds feel shy.
Oh, get the
And I
fuck
love
out of
you
here.
for that.
Where's my wife? Repeat that for my wife. Hey, put that shit on my cell phone voicemail message so like people can call and get those words. Like that's dope. Appreciate you, Zomkhonto. Thanks, Magus. Shout outs to Mattie. Yes.
I love you so much, man. That was so sweet. And like the timing is so perfect. That was great. Cover was like, it was good.
Good shit.
Your cop anecdote reminds me of a time I was on the roof of this building working on a painting, and 6 cops came up on the roof looking for me, telling me the neighbors had called saying I was going to jump from the roof.
That's awesome. But like, no. I'm okay. When I get quiet, watch out. When I'm reading a poem, I'm kind of okay. Just let me read the poem and I'm kind of okay. So yeah. Thank y'all. Thank you for the ears. It's getting there. Yeah. Thanks.
Amazing. We love you so much, CP. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Feelings mutual.
Much love. All right, everyone, take a nice deep breath and let's come back to center here because, wow, my brain's all over the place. Amazing. Next on the mic, we have poet Sophia Falco, who is just a dear treasure to us. We love you, Sophia. Could you bless us with some words?
Awesome. Yeah, totally. And awesome performance by CP Mays. Always looking forward to hear what he's got going on. So snaps. And let's see here. I have a request poem, and then I have 2 poems planned. I'd like to practice in front of the group. From my book, Chronicles of Cosmic Chaos in the Fourth Dimension, because I have a big event coming up in person. Thank you for showing the cover. And we will hop to it. And then I'll provide the link to the event in my website and everything. So first, let's just, yeah, we need a breath after that. So this is the request poem. Birdie Hop. Birdie Hop was my first sentence. Still yearning to fly, I stretch to my fullest wingspan, visualizing while the wind ruffles my black t-shirt like little feathers. My eyes are closed. I see black. Suddenly I embody a crow, unable to escape, my feet stuck to the pavement, attempting to flap my wings. They buckle under the weight of sorrow, weight of the world, weight of the past, this present moment, a Picasso painting that's more demon than person, these weird shapes bending reality. I can still see the humanity, a fractured mosaic of this life, now a fractured wing. Thank you. That was the poem I wrote, request poem, about a crow. All right, and then I have 2 companion pieces that are short that I want to practice. And I'll put my little timer just for my knowledge. So many endings in one place. The end of the incense trail was what I followed, that dying scent barely wafted out of her living room. Those hints of sweet lavender eventually would falter in her red incense holder she bought from an art museum, used countless times, now filled with stunted sticks. So many ends built up and up. Those ends would eventually disintegrate, turning ash like the dawn of so many endings in one place. And she asked me while her gaze was past my eyes, instead above my head, on her 2 tiny pet birds, one bright blue and one bright yellow, in her rusted bird cage, chirping countless times about the final moment of that tragedy, on how he ended it, while I didn't want to dwell on his end, while declaring there are no fairy tale endings, instead too many tragic endings, as she mindlessly continued to buy more. She didn't think twice about when one burnt out. She didn't think twice about never emptying the holder. As a birthday gift, she gave me incense sticks, a red matching holder. I never lit one myself. This time, eucalyptus scented, like those trees near the lake, near the place called home. And when I returned after her dinner party, as the day ended, I became fearful in the dark, not because it's hard to see, but because I was with my fears and I didn't self-harm, so I didn't need to end that, but was so close, oh, so close to the beginning. Thank you. And to close this, set off the companion piece. Is titled "A Savior Who Couldn't Save," in memory of W. All right. Equipped with tarot cards, a priest with bright eyes who tried to intervene to no avail, couldn't light the way out, and now I can barely remember his name, uttered just a few times, almost sacrilegious to do so, seeing him once in a black and white photograph, supposedly smiling, once a player on the minor league baseball team, buried secrets taken to the grave. I made a promise to myself. I will not end up like him, still this life full of strife to carry forward without my self-proclaimed wishing stone I stole from her, composed and carved of an angel, placed it in my pocket of these jeans with a hole, became holy, even though they were not what they started out to be. Without him, without ever seeing a yellow butterfly, yet they were born in my stomach. I shook my head. The answer could have been finite or infinite answers. Why this occurred? She was 4 before I was born. No, I'm not up in arms about it, but that special day, no longer wishing to witness laughter, I walked the other way. Out of my own 27th birthday party to skip that stone in the lake near the place called home, unable to no longer possess a motionless representation of flight, places in heaven, actually empty spaces. Thank you, everybody.
Oh my God, that was fucking wow. Everyone, open your mics for Sophia.
Yeah, Sophia.
Falco!
Like,
Sophia
you have a
Falco.
certain,
Wow.
you have a certain way of intimacy with words, like they're just intimately connecting with the words. Like, and I feel that intimacy is the only way to deal with words ever, because there are situations that people actually deal with in reality. They are every day. I wake up in the morning and life hits me with this, and you deal with it in such an intimate way that makes it acceptable to read and love. Thank you. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Get this book. Get this book.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
Sophia, you're awesome. Thank you so much. We love
Appreciate
you.
it. I'll put
We
the
love you,
link
Sophia.
to the event that's coming up on 420 in Palo Alto. Super stoked. And you can find me on Instagram and my website. I'll just type that in, and thanks for the opportunity to share. Those were kind of tricky pieces to read. But I felt like they had to be said. So thank you.
And I just wanted to drop in and say, Falco, like, you have this character that Tefft has, that Debby has, that Zomkhonto has. Like, there's this natural thing where I really want to believe anything you tell me because of your intimacy with words. Like, so like you, Debby, Tefft, like y'all have that intimacy. Like, whatever you're telling me, I just fucking believe it. Like, you could tell me like it's gonna rain and hail, and I'm just gonna be like, oh yeah, I believe it because it's so intimate. So rock out, love you, mean it. Yeah.
Same to you, as mutual as ever. One love, CP.
Thank you guys so much. All right, up on the mic next is Cora. Cora, have we had you here yet?
Say that again.
Have you been here before?
Yeah, this is like my fourth time.
Your
I
fourth
sang
time?
last
Well,
week.
well, I'm going to welcome you again anyway. It's good to see you. Thank you for coming back. Could you bless us with some words?
Yeah, so I did want to share another poet's poem, but the one I have for myself is a little bit long, so I just wanted permission to do both or just one from you guys.
You do whatever you feel. We are ready to listen.
All right, all right. So the poem I'm choosing to read is by Anne Morrow Lindbergh. I don't know if you can read that. Probably not. She tends to use nature a lot for personification and self-reflection. So I really like her work. The piece in this book, which is titled The Unicorn, is called The Stone. There is a core of suffering that the mind can never penetrate or even find. A stone that clogs the stream of my delight, hidden beneath the surface, out of sight. Below the flow of words, it lies concealed. It blocks my passage, and it will not yield to hammer blows of will and still resists the surgeon's scalpel of analysis. Too hard for tears and too opaque for light. Bright shafts of prayer splinter against its might. Beauty cannot disguise, nor music melt a pain undiagnosable but felt. No sleep dissolves that stony stalagmite, mounting within the unconscious caves of night. No solvent left but love. Whose love? My own? And is one asked to love the harsh unknown? I am no Francis who could kiss the lip of alien leper caught within the grip of world unfaith. I cannot even pray. And must I love? Is there no other way? Suffering without name or tongue or face, blindly I crush you in my dark embrace. So that was from Anne Morrow Lindbergh. You guys can hear
Great
me okay,
read.
right?
Wow, Cora. Nice.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So as you can tell, she is very good for visuals and imagery. So I return to her work a lot. Just because she plays with it a lot. She plays with like the imagery of nature and not even like, she doesn't use a lot of eyes in her poetry. Like she just says, here's the leaf, and you have to kind of confer. But anyway, thank you for listening. This piece that I'm about to write is an identity piece, and if Olivia's in the room, she knows the origins of this, but the story is too long to kind of relay. But it came from a conversation that I had with somebody. To you who questions the material I am shaped from, you who asks these questions, are you woman or a man? What do you mean by trans? Do you have thick skin? Do you pass for a woman, but are you complete? Am I complete? Are you complete? Are you content with the way we must isolate genetics and physiological constants in such a way that we can create distance between sexual characteristics and the spirit inhabiting the mesh of the largest organ we call skin? How is your skin? Is it thick enough for the backlash? Thick enough to throw javelins against without a dent? Thick enough to parade around with elephants who have no concern about being accepted so long as they keep moving forward, keep their minds fixed on the promised land, the shallow watering hole where all creatures stand as equals in their thirst? And you ask, what do I mean by trans? Anatomically, I am complete as I am. Biologically, I am complete as the sands eroding from the shoreline, smooth to the touch and rough under closer examination, stubble on my neck in the morning like dewdrops gone in the noontime sun when I scrape a razor-thin wire across my skin. See how smooth the desert dunes become with the twilight winds. I am no different. And what you asked about the parts below the surface. You say you look like a woman, you pass, your face does not give away any secrets that you have, well, why not stay visible on the surface? You can model for portraits, in other words. You mean I can love my body in secret. You say I look like a woman, but I'm not, and I can't be mad. You quiver to know I began as a man, but it's not that. You question me, is your transition complete, as if to ask, are you able to compete with the normalized binary of man? Society, it seems, says a third option is obsolete. Any option really other than the binary returns an error code, reading data incomplete, inconclusive studies, incoherent social communication. How it gets returned whenever I express myself freely. I am trans, but what does that mean? I straddle both worlds of ideas, physical properties, stretched apart, split in half, the top of one, the bottom of the other, while my brain, however, considers I am neither. I am as dynamic as a river dragon shifting pebbles underneath her sapphire scales. I am as fluid as a waterfall that rushes down to greet her. A multitude of water droplets flowing forth as a fountain, as a woman's urethra, like a rushing torrent of relief held in until it's ready to burst. I am a held breath, ready to exhale from a wide chest. A diaphragm fit for a hunter who can muster the voice of thunder if they so choose, or sing a soft lullaby as a mother to her sleeping child. I am a child's wonder, unbound by rule, who captures pockets of sky with acorn hats and quenches the thirst of damselflies. Being trans means I am simply untethered. I don't fit into the little boxes on the hillside that society desires. I am a blank canvas ready for dreams. But how is it that an artist can be free to paint as they please, but I cannot be me without scrutiny? Normalize my body, smooth as silk out, hair as golden as the fleece shouldered by Hercules, shoulders broadly built to bear the guilt of my ancestors, green thumbs to plant seeds for the future. I am a chain breaker gardener with breasts budding, tender and firm as button mushrooms rising from mycelium structures. And like a mushroom, I have my own too, though I am asked to be silent, kept it hidden from the view, because a white man once ruled that his society is not yet ready for the third gender, is not yet ready to pronounce that his holy scriptures paints God as they and they as we, and we as everything under the same fucking umbrella. And if I could say the trans agenda, it is that we are the seed sprouting from a decaying tree that has toppled over. Like the ideas of inequality and binary structures which rulers have forced upon us for millennia. And that's the halfway point, so I'll stop there. Thank you.
Wow, I love to hear the end of that sometimes.
Nice.
Please.
Can't wait.
Yes.
Can't wait with
The
bated
niceness
breath
was
for
on
the
a
next.
level of niceness above the niceness. That was nice. Oh, all right. Yeah, you got a verse.
As you can tell, I channeled my rage into that, and I still have 3 pages, but it's cool.
I fucking love that, Cora. You have no idea. Like I am the same as you, and that's so awesome. Like you're like halfway into the piece, you're 8 minutes in, you're like, there are 10 more minutes actually.
Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Thank you for performing it. Thank you so much, Cora. Okay, next up on the mic, it's my pleasure to present Debby Segal, recent author of Edwin in the Embrace of Entropy, an excellent book I am reading right now. I'm very happy to have it. Thank you, Debby. Debby, will you share your magic with us?
Thank you, Magus. Thank you, everyone. What a wonderful event this is. I'm going to read a cover first from the Kenneth Patchen book, Because It Is. I'm going to read Because They Were Very Poor That Winter. The only mother he could afford was a skinny old man who sat on the roof all day drinking champagne. The real stuff, of course, was much too expensive. Previous to that, about a year later, she joined the Society for the Placating of Polar Giraffes and almost immediately discovered that by earnestly pronouncing "your coat's wet" in Arabic, great numbers of drowned sailors would drop from the sky and dance through the streets until shot by cops. So being just turned 3, little Cora Lou naturally bristled at her grandfather's suggestion that they go together to the station house and try the new lavatory facilities there. Conscientious taxpayer, are you? She snorted. I suppose that's why you've got your overcoat pockets stuffed with snapshots of Martha Washington playing basketball on roller skates. Obscure indeed are the vestments of destiny. In the end, rose and ostrich smell much alike, and only the thinking of clouds keeps the world on its untroubled course. That was my cover, and that's Kenneth Patchen. If you don't know him, look him up. I will put him in the chat. And this is some new shit. This is a piece of prose. It's a couple hours old. Old Smoky. There is a picture on the oak-paneled wall, a kitschy watercolor of the snow-capped Smoky Mountains. Seeing it all these years, it's easy to forget. Eyes seek novelty and take for granted tried and true tired sights. They tend to blend into the background. Stubbing Tiva sandaled feet on a pair of black lace-up hiking boots. It's been 48 hours since they landed there in the corner when he stomped out yelling, holding an armload of musical instruments, wind and string, smashing and twanging, swinging from straps, his unlaundered plaid flannel shirt unbuttoned and flapping over a white tank top, 2 short cutoffs, commando, balls sticking out, pasty calloused feet in rubber deck shoes. Slamming that door in a clap of vibrating Viking agitation. It is understandable. Whatever. So roll another joint of badly cured indica, light it with a new disposable red Bic lighter from the corner store, and take a long drag of skunky, lemony smoke. Coughing, look off into the distance. Giggle, even though nothing is funny. Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. Firewood still stacked by the hearth. Tabby cat using the upholstery as a scratching post for a relentless claw maintenance session, then weaving in and out between bare ankles, mewing for a saucer of milk, but the milk carton is empty, and while at the corner store getting the lighter, milk didn't make it from the refrigerated case up onto the counter. Did it get left on the dry cereal shelf? Walking back in twilight, wanting to punch a wall, but realizing walls don't give. A sudden memory of campfire sing-alongs in childhood. On top of Old Smoky, all covered with snow. Daddy was singing. He liked to croon like Bing Crosby. I lost my true lover from a courtin' too slow. Now a courtin's a pleasure and a partin's a grief, but a false-hearted lover is worse than a thief. Walking through the threshold, a memory lost in time catches up. Thank you.
Oh, thank you,
Awesome,
Debbie.
Debbie.
What a journey.
Vibrant, like just vibrant.
Yeah.
Jumped off the page. Fantastic read.
the vibrancy of the images that you actually present is just mind boggling. It's like a shock to the system. It's like you're separating my red blood cells from the white blood cells and just letting them hear poetry differently each time.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. One love. Respect.
Yeah, Debbie.
Absolutely awesome. Thank you so much, Debbie. I could listen to you read your words or anybody else's words for hours. Like CP said, I believe everything you say for sure. It's quite a power. Oh, thank you. All right, so next on the mic we have Paul Skiff. Paul, could you bless us with some words?
Hi, it's good to be here again. For this cover, I'm gonna read a short excerpt from a story by John Paul Lee, who's from Savannah, Georgia. This is out of another edition of the Knitting Factory Notes from what year is this? I think 1992 or something. Where I used to run readings 2 nights a week. This is from his story, Soup, Soap, and Gumdrops. Does it always work? Mrs. Oliver asked. Did it work on all your other ones? It works, Mama said. I was sitting in her lap, crying and reaching for her breasts. But just before I touched them each time, I drew back my hands. Robert Earl is just taking longer than the others. They all gave up by the 3rd day, but here it is the 5th day, and him still trying. They sure are black, Mrs. Oliver said. How do you get the soot to stay on? I rub a little lard on first, Mama said. Then I get some soot from the stove and rub that on good. It takes a while to get it just right. Caleb wants me to wash it off every night, but he just don't know how hard it is to put on. I just wrap something around me and sleep that way, then rub a little more soot on in the morning. And all your other ones quit the same way? Mrs. Oliver asked. Quit without a fight? Oh, there were fights, all right. Juanita's even took the teat one time. She didn't hold on long, though. I guess seeing that black all around her made her turn loose and start eating. And then Chuck, my next one after Hildred died, caused some trouble. He beat on my breasts till they was sore, but finally he give up and started eating too. Faith cried a lot, but she gave up after the 3rd day. I don't know what to do with this one. He's about wore me out and himself too. Like the others, I finally gave up and started eating. I'm going to try and keep in the realism vein with Debbie. This isn't really a poem. It begins with a Yoruba proverb. The people who say they are teaching you to be tall are the same people who are teaching you to be small. Because there is a difference between someone who can show you peace, love, and progress and someone who is telling you they have peace, love, and progress, meaning you can have it too, just come to them. But maybe difference is something we can pretend isn't there. You know, you can't make anything out of difference anyway. Someone is holding themselves down beneath their cock or cunt in a pornographic soap opera where they finally have some control. In January, your stove died in Junior refrigerator. The landlady said she just visited the building owner in Jackson State Prison, Detroit. She wants you to be sure about how they do business in the city of fire and no compromise. If only you could wait until the complaint department inspector comes by, but the one-armed teenager with no place to sleep finds it easier to get into the front hall for its shade. Not having any bills to pay can chase a person to a place like that. Falling is a comfortable thing to do, and no one will see it happen to you. A previously right-handed 15-year-old can show you how to bury yourself in something as simple and available as a little sleep. Just heave everything else out of your mind. You stop wearing rings, you stop wearing a watch. Wedging yourself up to the East River makes you feel like you are too close to wearing an ornament that is supposed to mean something but doesn't, that is supposed to tell you something but doesn't. A wave is something you would just fall through, like the ability of the landlady to keep running her mouth on you over the phone. Inside, you pop with the speed of soundlessness in a light bulb. Your neighbor's smiles have gone out the same way, and the anti-folk singer you keep hearing practice through the breezeway doesn't sound authentic anymore. So you think maybe you should practice feeling good, decide not to, then spend the next half hour calling people on the phone, but no one is home, and the one person you finally reach tells you they just feel like their head is going to explode, so they can't talk now. The train seems clearer coming down the tunnel, and that makes it have less weight, more preciousness. It is an exact train now, and it was your flaw not to be able to see it before, like young females at the curb selling smoke who, when they see you, instead ask, do you want or need anything? Do you want anything? They are faces on heads stacked over bodies lined on the train bench, that lull and float ordered only by speed rushing them uptown. It's not a Glock because it is black. The Super 9, whose refined, immaculate chambers expand, contract, conceive with hydraulic barks down the block that is half there and undergoing another small removal of its contents, whether the removal is of the monopoly on noise bought by traffic and Congos, little Polly crying from another bully session, spilling hydrant and silent dodging of 2 or 3 different languages, or whether the removal is made up of something formerly a person who laughs, sizzle away on a deformed slug that bounced off a 12-rib jelly to liver and is clamped in the corner of the Corona girl's smile pasted up on the bodega door. You are struggling to live a life not ended by craziness that pounces like an abrupt drop in blood pressure, or a hear no evil, speak no evil, see no evil abandonment. All the ways the neighborhood can bite back at itself like that, a mangled piece of metal in the corner of the Corona girl's smile. Hear the dripping of someone's laugh down preposterous glass, the glass that is just a punk bitch that wishes it was on TV all the time. You can't think anything anymore that is not of a program of abuses and neglectings that was just waiting for your seed. And when they've changed that to the art factory where the strugglers are warehoused and swindled by the landlord who had his lawyers turn him into a piece of information so that he passes like mere illuminations from screen to screen, so even the Catholic Church can't erase him while he sublets his building to himself, lets the building go while the street rots like a tooth too sweet with people trying to experience some beauty made, found, or broken and entered. Make some beauty and stand in front of it. Dance through it. Sit still and shut yourself down so it can pour into your ears. But the city won't give in. People are too busy paying out their attentions to what they want, and it isn't there. You decide to get out of the way for the embarrassment of riches as a certain kind of nakedness, signs of fabricated personal triumph as big as 3 tons worth of compromise that cannot be hidden in plain sight, like the pictures of the latest 2 formerly ethnic men to make Hollywood movies, who stand in the one-armed hug with postures that balance their beer bellies in the photo flash. Something invisible is getting pasted up on the wall, on the building outside, announcements on a public surface, hoping to keep whatever it is that bothers the neighborhood away, but it never comes out in the plain daylight. The engine shrank underneath their lights, twirling rigid red, blue, and green blades, syncopating buildings that are silent about whatever emergency, while a person gets arrested for sleeping on the corner in a chair no one wants, and no one has gotten used to how life is garbage, even people with pretty names. You are thinking about what you will use next to try to kill the bugs in your room while the witness and her daughter knock on your door, and you wonder why so many things that just want to try and take something from you seem to end up in this neighborhood, while down the street, the firefighters douse a smoldering mattress and help themselves to the radio, camera, and jar of pennies. Special types of people, like the Pentecostal girls who dress to make your bones ache, or the woman who has lived too long in the cracks and is talking to a rusting license plate, move untouched by anything so temporary as your ambition to hang on to the small hours of the morning when it will cool off. The Pentecostal girls are beyond that horizon, and the woman who has lived too long in the cracks gets God stuff from things too small for you to notice. Don't step on that candy wrapper, rare as a blind pigeon. Instead of continuing his plumber's apprenticeship, the super married a young divorced mother whose parents set him up with a Black Ranger Jeep, and now they are having twin girls. When signs go up in the stairwell about broken plumbing, not one fucking word is spelled right, but it makes more than sense, because you can shortfall onto prosperity the way some out-of-town speculator chose to condoize the building across the street from yours, which means soon the corner will finally be well lit at night, and you might find $100 bill drop on the curb next year, because nobody is asking you to be a slut, and a person can be very happy as one. Or can we say that isn't important either? It's just a simple magic trick, such as pretending you like your unimportance, but you aren't the man sitting in the full sun on 14th Street shucking his maraca full of change who has no place on his face where eyes should be. You aren't the woman with 3 children living in a squat on 13th who has just fallen in love with another woman. The rumor is Avenue D will be a shopping mall, and East 8th Street a retail strip with a health spa. El Sombrero restaurant will either really get a liquor license or get turned back into a French restaurant where limos pull up to empty out hammerheads. Someone else's image of the future next door seems official. The day you were born, the nail for the coffin was made.
Holy shit. Holy shit, Skiff.
Yeah, wow. Amazing. The day you were born, the nail for your coffin was made. Wow. Wow,
Thank
wow,
you.
wow, wow, wow.
And as you're going, Debbie and Mattie are just quoting it whole thing. Like, that was, wow, you guys, like,
Me and Debbie were like rocking back and forth. It was so good.
that was amazing.
So
The
good.
Skiff verse is bigger. Yes.
Hey.
Actually, our life in the ghetto, back in Zimbabwe, with my Kokoba. Google my Kokoba. That was our life. And you described it well. One life.
Skiff's poems, I broke one of the codes for Skiff's poems. Like, what is it? Shit. Who sings the song, I've been dazed and confused for so long, I don't know what to do?
Led Zeppelin.
Led Zeppelin. All right, so is it Led Zeppelin supposed to sync up with The Wizard of Oz? What's that old cliche? It's like The Wizard of
Pink Floyd.
Dark Side of the Moon. Pink Floyd.
Dark Side of the Moon with Wizard of
Bingo.
Oz.
Yes, I think Skiff's poem is supposed to sync up to fucking The Wizard of Oz or something, and like it'll just fit perfectly no matter what's happening in the movie. Like that's a Skiff poem.
Hey, Paul, what was El Sombrero, I think, on Stanton Street? I think I used to go to it in the 90s.
It's exactly there. Stanton and Orchard, and Brian, it's only a couple doors up from where your favorite place is going to reopen soon.
Well, I tried to go there a couple of years ago, but it was closed on the day that I went there. Is it still open, or?
No, the Sombrero shut down. They finally became a victim of the fact that they sold takeout margaritas.
Oh, I just remember it was sort of like this really great sort of no frills at the time when I was there in the 90s. It was sort of a no frills old school Mexican restaurant that you just, and everyone there was like, most of the people eating there were Mexican, and you just knew you were getting great food, and it was just wonderful. You know, it was.
Yeah, that you described it the way I remember it too. And they were notorious among the locals because you could just, I used to walk out of there with like 4 takeout margaritas. And, you know, that was before COVID when they made that okay to do. So eventually they kind of became a victim of that.
It was just one of those great places that, you know, it doesn't matter where you were in Manhattan, you just, when you found out about it, you had to keep on returning.
Yeah, it was definitely a shoe-in. Every, you know, you knew, like you said, you knew if you went there, you were going to get a really great meal for not a lot of money.
Yes, a good amount of food, yes.
Right on. Okay, next up on the mic, Danley Phillips. Danley, will you share your magic with us?
Yes, thank you. I have a cover by Nikita Gill. In another universe, I meet my father when he is a child. We play catch in the woods, and as we play, he tells me he isn't allowed to cry. But sometimes the world hurts him and he doesn't know what to do with all that pain. So I give him the shoulder he needs to cry on. And he does. He does until the tears are done. Afterwards, I buy him ice cream and I listen to his laugh and the glowing, warm laugh of a child who knows he is safe. I wish someone could have done that for him, been a kind, safe place for the child he used to be. Would it have made a difference? Would it have made a difference? Nikita Gill. This one is something I wrote. I've read it only to students and a couple people. Anyway, I guess I'm practicing. I'm not perfect. No, my mother was never a virgin, and I think I could walk on water if my soul just wasn't so heavy. You see, educators in this country are expected to be perfection, posted up like a lowercase t for everyone to see, but still make me out to be the bad guy. Like, can't I be fallible and an educator your kids learn reading and writing from? But also, do you ever think about my willingness to save your kid from a gun? Like, that's part of the gig these days. When you sign your job application letter as a teacher, you're actually signing up to protect any kid that lives nearby the building you teach in. Can you imagine? Please try. Imagine you're in 9th grade. I know it's been a long time. Good morning, my sweet babies, I say with a huge and authentic grin. I tell my kids we need to practice an active shooter drill today. Groans and whines, and we do this all the times. Ignoring them as if I don't also know, I ask if anyone knows what we're supposed to do if there's an intruder in our building. Classmate Brady replies, yeah, Mr. P, we practiced since we were 5. I know what I need to do to survive. Why do we still need to waste this time? Shuddering while thinking why we have to use this time not wasted, these lives not wasted. I know I don't need to explain why my mind races at all the things I could say. One thing never discussed is, what does it sound like when a bullet explodes holes in a schoolhouse wall? Can you imagine that sound, y'all? Hearing all children in the neighborhood screaming, not like recess, but like their classmate is lying in a mass of their own body mess, bloodies, wearing limbs, bearing peace signs in fingers, notes on wrists for classes that won't happen today. What does it sound like to hear gunshots echoing through hallways while children in corners are on top of bookcases are crying? I am trying to keep my students from windows and doorways and easy places where someone can see them, but what if this safe place doesn't exist? What if classrooms weren't designed with bullet holes in mind in the 80s? Why didn't we think of every single danger to our babies? This room cannot grow bigger, so we deal with what we have. No trigger, but students gather behind my teacher's desk because maybe my teacher's desk will save them from holes through their chest. I don't know. I didn't learn this in college. I got on-the-job training and never signed up for the knowledge. This job is insanity, and it's clear to me that this country doesn't give a damn if me and my students are blown away on a Tuesday morning. This job, it must be for me, because what else would I be doing here? Schools are dangerous. Watch the news. My kids know we have weapons here to use. If an intruder enters this sacred space with intentions to make our souls fly, we will not simply stand by or lay down to die. We will fight like a snarled wolf pack backed into a corner. Victims, not us. Your kids are trained for this. Scissors no longer for paper become dagger weapons for intruder. Textbooks heavy enough to be thrown at his white male head. Knock down a grown man. We've talked about it. They've said decorative boulder thrown. I promise, I lie. You will destroy them or slow them down. I don't know if any of this is true. What would you tell a room of 35 times 2 whose eyes only plead and beg you for safety? I don't have children, and the Lord, she's never blessed me she's never blessed me with love past the things I do with my hands or whom I choose to spend my time. So maybe this is where I lay down my life. Educators die every day. Like a 6-year-old shot their teacher the other day, and I'm sure she showed up to teach the next day. Teachers are soldiers of the world, and how sad they don't earn more recognition. I know more teachers that have been shot at than cops. I know that these cops sit down a lot. Teachers should not be hanging and gaining public crucifixion over backyard picnic baskets. Thank you for listening.
Yo, that was fucking powerful imagery. Thank you for sharing.
I'm a teacher,
Tremendous,
fam.
Danley.
I'm
Tremendous.
a
Everybody
teacher.
open your mics. Yeah,
Yeah,
teachers are soldiers
I'm
of
a
the
teacher.
world.
So
Yeah, that's
teachers of the
beautiful.
world,
Wow.
teachers of the world, let's unite.
Yo, and
Yeah,
everybody.
Because
report from the front line. Thank you very
yeah,
much.
yeah.
Yeah, I got a little sweaty. Thank you all.
You did so good.
That's a good sign.
Yeah, you put it down. That was awesome. Thank you so much,
Teachers of the
Danley.
world, you are a teacher, and the very same understanding always works across the whole planet, because teachers think the same. So you are part of a universal understanding of the understanding that teaching is the greatest thing that could ever happen to a child. One love.
Ooh. I know smart people. I know smart people.
They're all here. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Danley. Next on the mic, we have Mattie. Mattie, could you bless us with some words?
Guys, I actually can bless you with some words. My cover for today is a poem by Desiree Della Giacomo. And I've lost it at this exact moment, so give me a second. 1 second, please. If not, I just will read something else. Give me 1 second. Okay. My mother will tell you that I was a quiet child. I will tell you that I was born screaming and everyone looked away. I once went 119 on the highway and no one stopped me. I once dug my name into my thigh and no one bothered to pronounce it. I once called my body sand, line drawn with a razor and no one crossed it. That kind of invisible can make a girl disappear into any mouth. I have spent years dreaming of a girlhood with my lips not stitched into a seam. Imagine if my mother could say she loved me without looking away. If my father knew my phone number. If there was never a boy burying my face in the hardwood, I would be anchored to resentment if I did not let time take hold of memory. Witness me. Look at the girl I was. Look at the me I am. Hear me say, I forgive you, mother, for all the years you could not see me, searching for a quieter life, no children to hold to your breast. I forgive you, father, even though you are a language I do not speak. I forgive you, boy, who found me weeks after the ambulance did. I forgive you, loves that did not love me back. I forgive you, my love, for each night you thrash inside the darkness of your head, drag yourself across the rocks of memory. I forgive you, self, for all the years I could not love you. This is the most resounding work song, to say I forgive you, and when I do not, I forgive myself for that too. When I wake with the past wrapped around my throat, I forgive myself for that too. Take my filthy name, let me call myself bird, let me call myself 100 days of laughter, call myself ice cream on the porch despite the hot day. Call myself the sweet insides of a strawberry. Let me call myself girl. Let me name myself for all the women I could have been. Tighten my eyes, lay my body warm, flat in the dirt. I plant my baby teeth like seeds and up grows a girl that can lay in the sun where no one will touch her. Each hole I dig, I whisper, I'm alive still, and isn't that more than I was supposed to be? Each hole I dig, I whisper, I forgive you, I forgive you, I forgive you. I forgive you, 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 until it is true. Oh. Then I have such a good poem. It's probably one of my favorite poems of all time. I read it in the exact cadence that she reads it in because I've listened to it 1,000 fucking times. It is one of my favorite poems ever. God bless Desiree Della Giacomo. Okay. Something of my own. This poem dedicated, if you dedicate to me, I'll dedicate it back to you. This is for CP. This was when we first started talking. The first night we spoke on the phone, we were like best friends. So I wrote this poem to the friend who had a PTSD trigger today and got me through the night. This is not the end. Were we standing in a grave, it could be. Were the flashbangs sitting up in my gills, lighting up the breath, and maybe. But I spoke to a friend today, welcomed the midnight with him and then the tomorrow, and there we were together. Not a trench, but a Mariana wedding of Bermuda fuckery. I know it's dark in here, but this is not a fallout. This is not a hold up, but an unfortunate light show mimicry party nonetheless. I'm sorry for the stars, for the mess of neutral light making and breaking itself through the blackout blinds of your recovery rest, but I have a map, a speed dial GPS to at least 3 other planets where the gravity hurts the knees a little less in a sweeter tone. Purple, Jupiter, Octopus Venture. The friend called me and said, this is not the end. And I said it back, agreed, no, this is not the end. And I'm off tomorrow. That is to say, there is nowhere trauma can take you that you will be alone. Remember flashbang. You remember a first kiss with Sunny D. You remember that we do not remember correctly. It was a terrible drink. It was a bad summer. It was a time we were missing and we couldn't taste it. Friend, I can hold the line here. I can tow it to the shore of the Dead Sea. We may float this yet. Find a creature underwater that has not yet been thought up by scientists. A deep truth tank wet and not yet filled with little swimming beams of light in this house. There's a museum in Antarctica that has yet to draw a crowd. There is an entire room there dedicated to flight risks, seabirds that do not know where to go home to yet. Friend, I wasn't drafted in that fight, but I will armor up for this every night you call, no matter the hour. I heard there's a monsoon coming for us tomorrow to bury all the blood at sea. Our brothers staining our sleep still, a funeral for the war itself. Coming at 500,000 knot winds to carry us to the museum resurrection of our fist fight night terrors, a dissection of water lungs at ground zero at Arlington, at nuclear blast, boys sent overseas to die, and he come back alive. And he lost for the breath anyway, and we lost for the living anyway, and they called us alive, never given a funeral. There's a museum in a country where nobody goes. A free exhibit for kids and the upchuck childhoods in rental tuxedos who raised them with the war all stuck up in their throats to dance in the same room and see a father-daughter where you can live there on a good page, get a blast radius of the Titanic's heart capacity, boiler room man, busted and broke into, and no, not broken, just set on fire, just hit in the neck, stunned but still breathing. I am sorry you got sent to trench. There is a patience ocean waiting for you to travel in between the place you are now and where you just went. Let the ocean take a sip of this weight. We may not be done dying. I can't promise you we won't get cancer. I can't swear on a book or sweat out not salt and be still unusual dancing where the party is not welcome and never has been, but we must heal this. I am an octopus. I am a landmine tongue twister, heart curdler, sea foam, a mess, an exhibit where children can get to see me purple and pose and tentacle for free. You are invited. There is a place for the things we do not yet understand. There is a place where ugly is at work making art. Pain does a death dance, war cry of the earth. I'm sorry this is not linear homecoming. I'm sorry you can never say you'll be home on time. A ship is coming for the always late though. Tomorrow may be stormy, a sock puppet, drawstring, hairpin trick of the light may again pull the throat shut and say it is 10 years ago, we aren't going home to it. This is not the funeral for your brother you are waterboarding yourself with under your bed's shoebox secret. Yes, tomorrow, the loneliest whale calling out for a home that cannot hear it may have a surprise party thrown for him at midnight. Tomorrow has not yet even realized what she has to be sorry for. Tomorrow, the museum opens its doors for the giant squid exhibit. We are not a shred closer to understanding our own intelligence. 10,000 leagues under the sea hold at least 19 undiscovered species. Whether or not we can hold our breath, they exist. Whether or not we die with their names stuffed into our mouths, they lived. Whether or not the war is over, we fight, we breathe, we bruise, we heal, we live through the night. Poem.
Oh,
You
wow.
are so hardcore, Mattie.
Everyone
Damn.
open your mic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What's that line? Trauma is not a place you can go to be alone. That's a revelation.
Indeed.
We are not a shred closer to understanding our own intelligence. You know, because most of these, sorry for my wording, motherfuckers think that they are smarter than us, but we in the underground of the whole situation, we understand what intelligence is. They don't find the best of us anywhere else up there. Up there, they are the ones that push down on the people that actually know shit. You know what I mean? So I'm happy for poems like this. One love.
Yeah, it's that emotional intelligence.
Yeah, emotional intelligence is more beautiful than all of this scientific bullshit.
Well, it depends so much on a person's wits. And, I think most people here know it's responsible for their longevity to this point, at this point,
One love, for sure. You're right, Skiff. You're right.
Appreciate that, Matt.
I love you.
Love
you
you,
back.
Mattie. Love you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Mattie. You're amazing, amazing. Next up on the mic, we have Terri Rose. Terri, could you bless us with some words?
Hello. Ignore all the weird noises you're going to hear in the back because nobody cares. Okay. All right. So, let me get to my, where the heck? Where'd it go? Ah, hold on a minute. I had it pulled up and now it's gone again. It's just my phone messing with me. Hey, come on. Okay, there it is. Okay. I have this one poem that I wrote about a friend of mine that I wanted to read. But I also, I have a cover I was do. So, you know what? I'm not going to read the one about my friend because it's too long. And I wanted to read the one about the teeth because somebody said they had dental work or something done earlier. So this is out of a book called Barstow and Grand, and it's an anthology, a bunch of poets from Wisconsin. And this person's name is Richard Haderman. If I'm saying that correctly. That's what it looks like. Okay. Whoops. Okay. Okay. I'm not too old for this shit. Kids ask me if they hurt. I tell them yes, it's excruciating, and you better not. Get them. You'll regret it for the rest of your days. I have. They told me if I didn't get them, I'd have problems. I already have problems. Now I have more. Teeth bound in scourged trench. Let me get my light. I'm reading here. Warfare erupting along my gum line, a lashing cluster of barbed wire strung from ear to ear. Now I rinse in a brine of whiskey and blood warm salt water whenever it hurts, which it always does. No one told me how to roll a fistful of roofing nails around in my mouth, then try and talk and sleep. I have a tin can smile and a scrap metal mouth. Mine now is the breath of the foundry, the forge, and furnace. My tongue is a junkyard dog beaten with chicken wire, blinded by rust. And now it's in the way. This is the book right here. And I actually got this book from for free from the Cultural Arts Center here in Atlantic City, because I was there this past Sunday for the Atlantic City Poetry Fest, which actually didn't take place. I guess it took place virtually somewhere else. So I was going to just bust out and do a pop-up, but I didn't have enough nerve. I just don't have I don't have the balls I need to do some of the shit I want to do. What can I tell you? I get halfway there and then I chicken out. So the other poem I'm going to read is about the dentist experience that I've had. It's in my book, The Chameleon Chronicles. And I still have like 2 copies of this. One of them is promised to this guy named Charles, who interviewed me on Sweet Chats. And the other one is up for grabs if anybody is interested. And then I have to get more from Marissa. All right, hang on, sorry. I'm not opening up to the right page. Come on. I'm trying to find shit. Let's see. There it is. Okay. So this is from my book and it's on page 4 and it's called Torture at the Dentist. And they're haikus. My teeth are failing. They are not married to me. Throbbing pain ailing. Dentist eye candy. If I were only younger and he not married. Looking, explaining, bracing for the painful truth cannot save the tooth. Since I was young, met many dentists that I hate. Money-making snakes. Trading bones away to insurance companies for Maseratis. I want to keep them. God gave them to me, not you. You begged to steal them. Novocaine shots fail, pain prevails, surging through bones, igniting anger. How can I show him just how bad this is hurting? Punch him in his face. Nazi dentist said, don't you bite me, no. he had it coming. So I figured with the people who have the problems with their teeth and everything, which is always me too, that might be a little something to laugh at or resonate with at this moment. So that's all I have right now. Thank you.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah,
Terri.
Terri.
One love. That is
Uh,
actually amazing.
I'm
Thank you
gonna
so
put
much.
my email in the chat. I want your book, so let me reserve that last copy of your book. I want a signed copy very
Okay.
badly.
All right.
All right.
I
Put my
would like to
email in the
tell
chat.
everyone that Terry's book is so amazing, and it's got all this amazing artwork and graphic design that she did herself that just will blow you away. If you're just not entertained by her writing and just taken aback by everything that she does, this book is just so special.
And to tag along, like I'm doing a cover of one of her poems, and I turned it into a fucking song. That's how dope like her poems are. So hopefully I'll have it up on IG sometime tonight. But yeah, her shit's dope.
So Terri,
Thanks, God.
what
Thanks
is
for all
it
the
that
accolades.
Terri, what is it that finally dissuades you from, doing your guerrilla stand-up poem?
I don't know. I'm afraid, like, first of all, there was some other event going on in there, and I wasn't sure if it was going to interfere because it is an art place and there are a lot of artists walking around. And then it was an opening for one of the artists, and she kind of had a reception there. And I thought, I don't want to like bomb her reception. So I went all the way to the back of the house, and there's this museum in there called Black Museum Matters, and it's all Black history. And I have a lot of information in my book too that would correlate with that. So I was like, maybe they'll let me do it here. So I was feeling them out a little, but I was not getting a warm like feeling back. So I was like, no, this is not going to be welcomed. So yeah, if I just like make it like, it seemed like it would be making it about me instead of what was actually happening there, and that's not what I wanted to do.
Yeah, we'd be reading a short article about you in the news, something about poet arrested in Atlantic.
That's what I was
Disturbing the
thinking.
peace. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. May have. Yeah, I didn't see any officers around there, but I know that they're not far away. Should they decide to have me removed, I'm waiting for them to. They do have actual poetry events there, but I just didn't hit it right. The promoter, his name is Raymond Tyler, and he's on Facebook and stuff if anybody wants to hit him up. He did a virtual kind of a section, which I tried to get. I was gonna just but message everybody and put it in their inbox, but then I thought I don't want to bomb everybody's inbox either. So I was like, how do I want to do this? So I kind of just put it up on my stories, and the link is underneath to click on it. Or maybe that's something else I'm thinking of right now, because they're having another event on Monday or Tuesday, and I put that in there with a link that's a hybrid event that you could click on, and it's an open mic, and also it's happening there. So I love when they do that, because then it means I don't have to drive in there, and even though it's like a half hour from me, sometimes I drive in there and then I don't know. I got so used to Zoom. I mean, I'm too comfortable on Zoom, and then in real life, I'm not comfortable at all. I'm just like crawling out of my skin.
You don't seem that way. I met you in real life. Okay,
I
next
hide
up
it.
on the mic. Yeah.
I hide it. But also, I know, I feel comfortable around you guys because I've had to get to know you for the last couple of years just from talking to you in the Zoom box. So because I'm comfortable already with you that way, but when I'm meeting strangers or someone I don't really know that well, I lose my words. I don't even have anything to say. I'm just like incapable of interacting live. And it's horrible. because I get like so anxious and I just want to run. I just literally want to run. But
Okay, next up on the mic, we
sorry.
have the estimable Zomkhonto Gabalela, who I will be collaborating with. I'm very excited to report.
You know what? The poetry that has been exhibited so far makes me lift high up into the sky and back in terms of raindrops. This is what I'm going to read first. Okay? This poem is by the first president of Angola. He was called Agostinho Neto. He was perhaps one of the bravest motherfuckers on this planet. He led this army called the MPLA in a civil war and completely obliterated the other side. But he was a poet leading an army. So I'm going to read this from Agostinho Neto. I live in the dark corners of the world without light, without life, anxious to live. I walk in the streets, feeling my way, leaning into my shapeless dreams, stumbling into servitude. Dark corners, worlds of wretchedness, where the will is watered down and men are confused with things. I walk lurching through the unlit, unknown streets crowded with mysteries and terror. I am arm in arm with ghosts, and the night too is so dark. That is Agostinho Neto, the very first president of Angola, the one that fought for the freedom of Angola for the whole time. And this is my poem, Ashes to Ashes, Dust to Dust. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Mary, Mother of God, whom you failed to trust. When people die, you do not know that some actually walk like bosses towards the grave, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. After the genocide, we tried hard to learn how to trust. My mother is named Maria. I bought a rusted gun from a high school friend, so she knows her son will do what he must. There are places I no longer visit. Places that tried to mimic my ancestors' piercing cry, and because I weep like how elephants do, I stomp so hard that even mother chases me away like you are not no elephant. And these crumbling walls do not deserve your rage. Walk away. She's away. She's away. But she is aware that after the genocide, us children born into it were not the same. They cremated my soul, and I am still seeking a place to bury my ashes to ashes, dust to dust. My mother is called Maria, whom you failed to trust. I was born from a womb of a truth that was crucified. A friend that almost drowned thought me Yeshua only because he almost died. And because of the hand I extended, my name walks unrepentant upon the water still burdening his lungs. I carried a cross since 16. So no Mel Gibson on the big screen. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. I crawled towards the sun to ask why black men burn every day, and the sun just sits there watching, burning them further into ashes to ashes. Dust to dust. Who picks up black kids shot dead while they were screaming, "Mama, they got me. Mama, they got me." They will cremate you, kid. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. But you can't cremate me, nigga. I am the I am. The reason God will speak to God to stop God from killing a black man. Ashes look like me, so ashes to ashes, dust to dust. My mother is Maria, so in God we trust. My love is God-given. I am just one out of a million spirits, all protecting God until the last moment. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. I came out of the womb of Maria, so in God I trust. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. I came out of the womb fighting, aggressive. Yeshua, Son of God, Bonisi, Zikali, Zomkhonto. I will cremate myself, Zomkhonto.
Holy fucking shit.
Yeah, no
Right?
kidding. Wow.
Wow.
Zomkhonto.
I'm laughing and bawling and snapping. Like, thank you for all that you are.
Yeah, that's the way to
Fuck.
stand up and speak out. Thank you so much for that example, my friend.
I am so excited to collaborate with you, Zomkhonto.
What was that line? I was born out of the womb of a truth that was crucified.
Ah. Wow.
So happy to be around poets like your One Love. Respect.
Zomkhonto, that was amazing. Thank you for sharing. That was like energizing.
Yeah, Maddie, One Love, my sister, always spoken from a true, respected.
Love you, man.
Yeah, One Love, respect.
Oh, I'm speechless, Gustav. Do you want to introduce the next person?
Yes. Next up on the mic, I believe, is Parquillian. Martin, are you ready to share some magic with us?
Sure thing. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Excellent. Good to see you.
Yeah, thanks. Sorry I missed last week. I had some things going on. Help somebody move. My partner's temporarily being moved down to the hall while they renovate her apartment. But I don't know how to follow that. This is not quite the same level, I don't think. But this is another one of my psychosomatic allergies. For a mentor from my meeting that I grew up in, I get to see his widow on Zoom frequently and shared this poem with her a while back. This is called Memories from the Shores of Octorara Creek. And it's in loving memory of Jim Brophy, whose name can be translated as May God Protect, Lunar Halo. May God protect your mischievous smile that often lit your lilting eyes, like lunar halos that light the skies with a heat both warm and cool. He always gave a cogent phrase on mornings when with friends we'd meet or evenings gather round to greet and share a lucky meal. You'd check out pastries I had made and share the worth of ships and schemes near where the waters of 8 rare streams seem to flow right below your deck. You came to rest upon the Keys, completing a trip around the West, and now you live an eternal rest in the hearts of those you loved. Died a little bit too long, right after retiring and making one retirement trip with his wife. Fell over on the keyboard.
I love that you came to rest upon the keys because Yes, there is the actual physical place of the keys, but you came to rest upon the keys. You
Yeah.
know, when someone
Yeah.
rests upon a key, then they just arrived where they could open the door. Yeah, that was nice. That was
And
nice.
or very southern Florida, which I
Yeah,
think
I
he might be
know, I
dreaming about
know.
this point.
I saw the keys, but the keys to me meant opening doors. That
I
was
understand. Thanks for the insight.
Yeah, man.
Even more meanings I keep finding in that line. That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Blessings, blessings.
So I'd also like to do a cover. Which usually I waited till the last minute. I thought, wait, I wonder if anybody has written a poem about the Octorara. Octorara is the creek that forms a good part of the border between Chester County and Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, just to the west. And I could not find anybody that has a memory of what Native American word this came from. But apparently somebody did write a poem about it. And Mark Fishbein has often accused me of being reincarnated from the 19th century with some of my rhyming poems. And this one actually comes from the mid-19th century, 1855. It's called Octorara, a poem. The poem itself is about 70 pages long, so I'll just read the first couple parts at the beginning here. Come to this porch, this rustic seat, and share the coolness of the tranquil summer eve. The twilight glow, the quiet heavens, the trees hushed in the gathering gloom. The coming stars, the busy sounds of day now sunk to rest, are all in unison with the profound and deep-toned feelings thronging on the soul, and that benignant power whose love at first pitched all the harmonies of earth and heaven, tuned in Eden to man's sinless soul, has with our feelings harmonized the scene. Friendship here may, with adoring love, that Eden was, what heaven shall be. Come now, blessed spirit, as the cloud of fire, Pentecostal scene, calm as this eve, as the golden twilight turns to flame, as its own soft beauty, and as the golden twilight turns to flame, rich as its own soft beauty, you dark cloud, lonely and fading, thou our spirits melt into the brightness of thy love, suffused with the calm twilight of our coming heaven. And ironically, it doesn't rhyme at all. But thank you so much for this space, as always.
Yeah,
Thank you, Martin. Oh, such
Martin.
beautiful.
The best poems in the world do not have to rhyme at all. They are just the inside bleeding of the soul, you know. So thank you so much. One love. Thank you so much.
Where did you find that, Martin?
I just typed into Google Octorara poem, and it came up. I forgot to mention it's by George Burroughs, a Protestant priest and seminary teacher. Lives in Pennsylvania area, apparently.
The thing I learned, Parquillian, when I was coming up, like I was tested and was like, yo, can you write a poem that doesn't rhyme? Yeah, let's do it. So like I started writing poems that didn't rhyme, and it gave it a certain texture, just like rhyming poems have their own texture. But I realized like a lot of people would get caught up in form, not realizing that when you break form, you're creating your own form for that moment. So like what you're creating right now is so like distinguishingly you that I can't help but feel it. Like whether you're rhyming or not, like you're 19th century, 18th century, fuck it, man. You're 13th century, like you're good.
Yeah, I've always liked both. And my first poem I ever wrote did not rhyme whatsoever, at least except for some internal rhymes. And then for some reason, a lot of stuff I do lately rhymes, but I love them both. And it's just what comes out at the moment.
Most of
Amen.
the poetry that has been put out there has been put out by colonizers. So they're British, they're either British or American, or they're, you know what I mean? So all other forms of poetry have been shut down. Not because they are not beautiful poetry, but because they have decided that these are lesser poets. Why? Because we colonize these motherfuckers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
We should read into all of the types of poetry so that we see that in South America someone was saying something.
Right.
In India someone was saying something. In Kenya someone was saying something. Let's not stick to this British stupid ass shit that if you don't know William Shakespeare, then you are not the fuck that shit.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's why I've always loved reading poetry, and one of the reasons I love to study languages, to be able to read poetry in other languages. I've loved in college studying poetry in Japanese and Arabic, and the first time I
There we
heard Arabic
go.
poetry, I
There
was
we
just
go.
blown away. I was like, that
There
is what
we go.
poetry. That's some poetry. But yeah, I've been trying to read further with around the world. That's one of my reasons I
Yeah.
love to learn languages. Yeah, thank you.
Let us change the spectrum of poetry.
Yeah.
And I'm
That's
glad
what we're
that
trying to do here.
I'm glad that CP Maze is doing that with Bottoms Up. And let us keep creating more and more spaces, like people like Nemo Sum, for instance. Nemo Sum is always speaking about this, and let us create more spaces about that. Wonderful.
Yes.
Indeed.
Respect.
Speaking of Nemo Sum, next up on the mic,
Nemo!
bringing the magic only
Nemo.
he can bring, is the inimitable Nemo Sum.
Nemo!
Nemo!
Many
The
lives
dogs
ago.
love Nemo.
I'm sorry?
The dogs love Nemo too.
Yeah. I'm going to read a modern translation of a poet who was writing 2,000 years ago, telling stories about 1,000 years prior to that. And this is a story you may have heard. Meanwhile, Daedalus, hating Crete and his long exile, and filled with a desire to stand on his native soil, was imprisoned by the waves. He may thwart our escape by land or sea, he said, but the sky is surely open to us. We will go that way. Minos rules everything, but he does not rule the heavens. So saying, he applied his thoughts to new invention and altered the natural order of things. He laid down lines of feathers, then he fastened them together with thread at the middle and beeswax at the base. He flexed each one into a gentle curve so that they imitated real birds' wings. His son Icarus stood next to him, and not realizing that he was handling things that would endanger him, caught laughingly at the down that blew in the passing breeze, and softened the yellow's beeswax with his thumb, and in his play hindered his father's marvelous work. He instructed the boy as well, saying, "Let me warn you, Icarus, to take the middle way, in case the moisture weighs down your wings if you fly too low, or if you go too high, the sun scorches them. Travel between the extremes." At the same time as he laid down the rules of flight, he fitted the newly created wings on the boy's shoulders. While he worked and issued his warnings, the aging man's cheeks were wet with tears. The father's hands trembled. He gave a never to be repeated kiss to his son, and lifting upwards on his wings flew ahead, anxious for his companion like a bird leading her fledglings out of a nest above into the empty air. He urged the boy to follow and showed him the dangerous art of flying, moving his own wings and then looking back at his son. Some angler catching fish with a quivering rod, or a shepherd leaning on his crook, or a plowman resting on the handles of his plow, saw them perhaps, and stood there amazed, believing them to be gods able to travel the sky. The boy began to delight in his daring flight and abandoning his guide, drawn by desire for the heavens, soared higher. His nearness to the devouring sun softened the fragrant wax that held the wings, and the wax melted. He flailed with his bare arms, but losing his oar-like wings, could not ride the air. Even as his mouth was crying his father's name, it vanished into the dark blue sea. The unhappy father, now no longer a father, shouted, "Icarus, Icarus, where are you? Which way should I be looking to see you? Icarus," he called again. Then he caught sight of the feathers on the waves and cursed his inventions. And this is a micro poem that's kind of my own mythology. Out of the hiss and crack of the dumpster fire of my mind, I rise, the garbage phoenix resplendent. Why do you stretch your broken wings to the red sky? Ain't you shamed? The Lord of Wrong wants to be worshipped. My head bowed as his ice cold drool drips down the back of my neck. And there's some part of me that must want it or need it, because here I am at his feet, pressing my bloody face into the gravel once again. The phoenix refuses to rise. So we lay in the ashes, despair and I, staring at the ceiling, not talking, still, because moving only makes her hold on tighter. I can feel my heartbeat slowing. Anger left hours ago. He didn't turn to look, just slammed the door, and I heard the car peeling out into the night. I don't know if he'll come back this time. I wish his absence felt peaceful. Everyone here is broken because everyone here lost the fight. The fire's gone out. The air smells like loss. And I'm waiting for someone who isn't coming. Thank you.
I'm going to try to say this without screaming, but that was. Thank you,
Thank
Nemo.
you, Nemo. Thank you.
Wow.
Fantastic. Wow.
Well, sometimes
Just fantastic.
I just wanna walk up to you where you were, wrap you around my dreadlock, pull you back to my spot, and let you just say poetry to the whole world. And then when the police come by, you are the one that tells them, like, no, he didn't kidnap me. He actually was nice to me. He gave me poetry books and made me read.
I just want to say, like, I'm actually wiping tears out of my eyes. Nemo, like, you are providing like the catharsis, and that is like true art and true art. Like, this is cathartic. You're healing my soul. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Debbie.
Nemo.
Zomkhonto.
Nemo is the Nemo reminds me of like the professor that would have been tenured, but he teaches freshman poetry and he drinks too much. So like when he does his poems, it's coming from this place of pure cathartic like imagery. You're awesome, Nemo. Like you could teach my freshman English class any day.
Yeah, those are the kind of teachers that don't get tenure because they put all the other teachers to shame with their
Right.
level of work, right?
Right.
They know what it is.
They
know
won't
what it
play
is.
by those teachers' rules, is my experience. That's what gets them into trouble.
Nemo, you get a heart chakra bone.
Mhm. Even Ebonics, like if you look like what street culture is about, even Ebonics, people don't understand Ebonics, so they always put people out in the street because they don't understand what they're saying, you know. But
Yeah,
if you
absolutely.
understand it, Texas has its own street lingo. Louisiana has its own street lingo. So
Absolutely. Yep.
why do you actually say this street lingo is different when black people do it? You know what I mean? Anyway, all love.
That's a really interesting point and a great observation because, you know, everybody wants to think there's just this hegemonic one overarching culture in the USA, but there's so many different cultures that are idiomatic to different geological locations in the country. It's just very, very different sets of cultural values.
I never correct anyone's pronunciation, and I actually get flack from my friends sometimes because they'll say, "Why didn't you correct me?" And I'll say, well, the proper pronunciation is entirely dependent on where you are and who you're asking. So I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Yeah, it's like, you know, Mattie put a great comment in the chat. You know, it's like American English is really made up of thousands of different sort of subcultural, you know, languages. It's not just one, what do they call that? You know, one sort of silo that the language occupies.
Quick question before Magus switches us out, just for us to know. This micro triptych, do you often use different parts of your micro triptych in other poems?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Why?
The microtriptych is a performance form. It's a way of presenting micropoems together, but I will read, those are all micro poems. I'll switch them around and use them 20 times in 20 different micro poem triptychs. Yeah.
Gotcha. Appreciate it.
Wow, that was awesome. Thank you guys all for sharing and connecting like that. That was awesome. Love it. So up next on the mic, we have Julian, and I believe it's Julian's first time. So if everyone could open up their mics and give Julian some love.
Welcome Julian
so
to
much,
Chaos
Julian.
Magic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love you.
Julian.
Yeah,
welcome.
You here, Julian?
Hi, may I share screen?
Yep, just 1 second. Okay, you should be able to now.
Oh, so the cover is by, the cover I'm doing is The Gravedigger by Khalil Gibran. Once, as I was burying one of my dead selves, the gravedigger came by and said to me, "Of all those who come here to bury, you alone I like." Said I, "You please me exceedingly, but why do you like me?" "Because," said he, "they come weeping and go weeping, You only come laughing and go laughing. And the poem I'm going to read is called Codependent. Codependent. How we tether ourselves to each other. Grandparent to grandchild, baby to mother's teeth. Lover to lover, hawk to dove. Maybe Mother Nature really is the blind watchmaker, indifferent to our very existence, unaffected by our own self-destructive, warring willfulness, letting time take its course, ticking away inside us like a bomb while we hang on to our dogmas, the stories we feed our explosive egos and so-called universal spirituality, creating hallucinatory ghosts and soulless machines in our own image, of our own making, but somehow beyond our control, hiding our naked longings in the time capsule box someone buried long ago and everyone forgot. Humanity's compassion stuffed in a cobweb attic, an abandoned house without an address, the chickenery of chickens in cages awaiting the savior fox, until all our crafty, cunning self-reliance is lost. Are we all just large cliques of narcissists and codependents then? Parasites of neediness for the one true God which no one can agree upon, being led by grandiose-driven, inflated manipulators with the empathy of viruses, either nursing or cursing each other until death do us part, suckling unweaned adults desperate for connection, yet just as willing to cut each other's tongues out. Carriers of generational traumas infecting and reinfecting each other in endless repeat cycles. Great unwashed, stuck at the 24/7 laundromat, awaiting the last rinse and tumble before shoving it all in the dryer for yet another high heat spin. Running to our pseudo mothers and unaccountable, emotionally empty fathers like spoiled brats when the machine breaks down and we don't get our way, crying, "Mommy, Daddy, it's just not fair. They cheated. Can you fix this?" While the poets just stop and stare. Thank you.
I fucking love your work, Julian.
For
Love it.
real. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I wasn't
love your
ready.
work.
I wasn't ready.
Empathy of viruses. Damn.
Julian, I require seeing that poem. Is there a place I can see it? Like, I know you just showed it to us, but that is so important. Can you email me or message
Yeah,
it to
sure.
me?
Yeah, sure. Send me your email.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, it's absolutely gorgeous. Thank you so much, Julian. We love you. Thank you for that. All right, next on the mic we have Cozzy Coz. Cozzy, could you bless us with some words?
Cozzy!
Oh, I can't hear you. I can see you talking, but I can't hear you. No, there's a slight hum, but no Cozzy.
No Cozzy.
I can see you.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, that's better.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
You pushed
I'm
the right
sorry. I don't know what's
button.
going on.
It's all good. You got this. We love you.
I love y'all too, man. What's up, everybody? Hope everybody's doing good. All right. So I have a cover that I will be covering tonight. It's by the one and only none other than incomparable Miss Sophia Falco. This is titled Be Here Now. Excuse me. Handmade sketches on colorful printer paper with life-affirming notes lined up in a row above the cheap wooden headboards. These beds, like musical chairs, individuals coming, going, haunted by their own minds, intertwined with demons, prowling of all ages, jumbled up like an owl's pellet with tiny remnants of bird bones, while the inside of these pillows, not composed of feathers, that one sketch of a tortured sun with charcoal eyes reminiscent of a face that died, staring, burned an image in the back of my head when our eyes locked each night. I told her she who hears voices to take it down, even though it declared, be here now. Such uplifting messages, yet I wondered about the anonymous artist, maybe gone, or maybe long gone, or maybe reincarnated as an owl soaring overhead. If the artist believed them, or it was just a facade to get out of here, and if innocence could come back again. Thank you. Sophia! Word.
Sophia,
All
was
right.
that a Pearl Jam reference in there?
We're having some, no. We're
Sophia's
having some,
talking, but we're not hearing.
she caught what Cozzy had. There it goes.
No.
Now we can hear you.
Yes.
Yes.
These headphones. Can someone
I
talk?
know.
Hold on.
Chaos and the magic.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. No, it was literally this poster on the wall, and maybe they were referencing Pearl Jam. I don't know. But then I told the person who was rooming across from me, take it down, because it creeped me the hell out every night. I would see it, and I'd be like, no. But I was strategic, right? Because I'm like, did this gal make it? And I couldn't like say take it down if she made it because she'd be offended, right? So after a few days, I was like discreet. I'm like, hey, did you draw this as my gateway? And she said no. And then that was my signal to say, do you mind if you take it down? And she said, I don't care. And then she took it down. So that's the backstory. You know what I mean? Because if she did it, I wouldn't have asked her to take it down because then there could be a clash in the room. So anyways, great read, Cozzy. Really appreciate that. And totally that.
Thank you.
Got an original for us there?
Yes. I have one. Fairly
Very
new.
excited to hear it.
Yes.
Thank you. It's fairly new, about a week or so, 2 weeks old. Some of y'all may have heard it. It's titled Disastrous Masterpiece. My pain is a dramatically ekphrastic work of art. A panoramic portrait of 1,000 words written within a picturesque depiction of Joan of Arc and Napoleon Bonaparte floating around aimlessly on Noah's Ark. Cunningly contrived by an eagerly evil easel which easily contains the indelibly ingrained ink that remains within the acrylically illustrated veins of my graphically broken heart, which has been creatively ripped to shreds and craftily torn apart by the same elaborately crafted strains which refuse to relinquish their abstractly reanimated reins from being so visually afraid of the dark. Like Leonardo, Da Vinci, Pablo's, Picasso's, so that Michael could Angelo, Claude's, Monet's, to then frame my traumatically intimate dismay as a mosaically intricate display of my artistically illustrated expression on a decadently decorative canvas, exhibiting a pixelated array of my articulately antiquated agony, jubilantly dancing to the truantly romanticized rhapsody of my sanity's variably variegated tapestry with no indication of mercy or amnesty. Like a torridly written storybook tragedy of an insurmountably horrible travesty in which the magic keys are automatically handed to an arbitrarily tyrannical majesty, so he or she could live comfortably and lavishly while the rest of us are forced to live savagely in this tailor-made calamity. Apparently, humanity rarely has the actual capacity to naturally embrace the duality between fantasy and reality. The unfathomably laughable gravity of this unimaginably radical disparity is an abominably embarrassing and an abhorrently sad abnormality which compromises the hues of my colorful personality. My overall strategy is to eloquently etch an aesthetically encrypted glitch of a prophetically imprinted sketch in which the unbearably horrific stench of this horrendously wretched piece of kitsch shall be indefinitely put to rest, which would prove to be a bit of a hell of a stretch though, especially if the forbidden echoes of my hidden manifestos are prematurely put to rest before making it to the next expo. Therefore, I'm putting my 10th toe in escrow in case the rest of them don't make it through the rest of this biographical concerto. If you pay attention to my soliloquy's grammatical tempo, you'll see this as but a mere trinket of a fashionable memento, like a danceable flamenco, rising to a spectacularly unimaginable crescendo with absolutely no innuendo, until it dwindles and diminishes into the swilled spindles of my unintended blemishes, which were swindled into my rekindled presages, which I can't say anybody really cherishes. Perhaps it's the excessively embellished emphasis on the extensively hellacious ecphysis of this tremendously trepidatious exodus. Thank you.
You go get it,
Oh my
Cozzy
God.
Coz. God damn. Every time you bring it. Every time.
Cozzy, woo!
Yeah. You are a fucking syllable master.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that so much.
The realest deal. Like,
Everybody
yeah.
open your mics and give some love to Cozzy Coz.
Cozzy.
That was amazing, guys.
Kaz is the dude who's like at a salon or a poetry salon or like by a fire pit, right? And everybody's reciting poems. And some people will be reciting poems in like Latin or some shit like that. And I always see Kaz's poetry when I hear it as him sitting at that campfire around a bunch of people who has degrees, and they're giving these great monologues and soliloquies, and he's just sitting there like, wait till I get up. Wait till I get up. I got a dictionary in my chest. Wait till I get up. Like, super dope, dude. Super dope.
Thank you for that. Oh, man. Thank you for that so much. I don't have any official training. You know what I mean? I wing it based upon what I've learned throughout my life. Like, my dad made me read when I was younger, and I hated it. And that's where I got these words from, you know, but I mean, I'm thankful. I'm so thankful and grateful that he made me do it, and now I could thank him by doing this. You know, so thank you. Thank you.
Much, God.
Cozzy, you may be the only human on earth who can actually do that thing with the cherry stem where you like, you know, tie it. I bet you can do that.
I've never tried it, but I might.
I've mastered it. Kaz, I'm sorry, before you go, Magus, this is it. Kaz, you are the AI of poetry. You're like artificial intelligence. I'll just be like poem, love poem, politics, and then this vernacular will just come out because the AI just created this entire poem with language for you. You're like walking AI. You're a walking AI. That's what you are. Chat GPT, aka Cozzy Coz.
Wow.
AI with a heart and a soul. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Wow. That's crazy. Wow. Thank you, man. Word.
Next up on the mic, we have the wonderful, the one, the only whisper poet, Whisper, will you bless us with your magic?
Thank you, guys. So some of you guys may have been in the room a couple of weeks ago when I read from a 100-year-old book of poetry that I found among my grandparents' things. It's really cool. It's called Tony's Scrapbook. And there were evidently 6 editions of this. And it's like a compilation of poetry from, people like us from 100 years ago. So I'm going to read to you. It's called The Flapper's Petition by an unknown poet. I want the lights that brightly shine. I want the men. I want the wine. I want the fun without the price. I want to be naughty and still be nice. I want the thrill of that first long kiss. I want the things the good girls miss. I want the arms and the heart of a man and still stay single if I can. So, as a lawyer, give me advice on how to be naughty and still be nice. I want to do what the other girls do, tease them, cuddle and bill and coo, blacken my brows and powder my nose, rouge my cheeks to rival the rose, pencil my eyelashes, redden my lip, carry a flask upon my hip, tango a bit and Charleston a lot, park my corsets when the weather's hot, ride and swim, golf and skate, take the fence instead of the gate, break all the rules, yes, all but one, and be good and true when the game is done. I don't like pepper, but I do like spice. I want to be naughty and still be nice. This book was published in 1934, so that would have been, right around the end of Prohibition and all kinds of fun. Okay, so this is a draft. This is new, and this is called Brothers in Arms. Oh, the rockets on the tank go thundering down, pounding down, firing rounds. Tonight on a continent across the world from the one my comfortable bed rests on are 2 little boys. They aren't brothers. They're brothers in arms. We look down on situational friendships, but it's the only one they have. Alexei hasn't seen his mother since the night their apartment building was bombed into rubble by DPRK missiles. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. What the fuck does the label mean to me? To you? To him? What does that parentless child need to know? Besides the fact that his new friend Danilo is the only person he knows. Trauma bonded, blood brothers, next of kin by virtue of organizational sin. Tonight they huddled together, hidden behind a dumpster, half flattened by chunks of concrete as big as cars. They hug for body heat. They hug because humans seek contact with each other when the world no longer makes sense. Cardboard pads the rock-strewn ground. The smell is almost enough to make them forget food. Food. Tomorrow they will need to find food. They sleep, not rest, for a short while. Rest not possible when safety is cut loose and people walking past their hiding place all night to the rhythm of tank tracks are the only lullaby they can dream tonight. 1 child, 2 child, 3 child, 4, 30,000, 300,000. Why is even 1 not too many to make this stop? Have the fruits of our loins become worth so little that they're only noteworthy as the pawns of some political chessboard? Except there's no winner. These displaced children, displaced, how tidy and packaged for dry discussion a word. Let me rip the syllables from the tongue of the human mole who dares to use displaced to describe what is happening to our babies. They reversed Roe v. Wade because they said life begins at conception. We give lip service to the value of life when clearly our actions differ. Bring Roe v. Wade back if for no other reason than to send abortions to the war zone and sacrifice to the gods. Displacement, disruption. We need a resurrection. Would God be willing to fix the aftermath of this hideous insurrection of hate and greed that sucked the life from future generations if we promise to be good? Kids are resilient. Let's send some coloring books and crayons because the human spirit abides. And yet they haven't survived. Their bodies breathe, but we have perpetrated the death of a child's heart, give or take 3 times 30 or 300,000. You can't Reiki the heart chakra of the living dead. Starlight, star bright, this pile of rubble they see tonight. I wish I may, I wish I might give them the wish they wish tonight, that their parents aren't dead, that their friends aren't dead, that anyone they know is still alive. Who cares about the house and the school and the town square market? Just a person, one single face that registers as known in the tiny psyches that restarted in safe mode when their lives were hard booted with bombs. This is what we have done to a child. 1 to 30,000 or 30 to 300, it's still too many. Even 1 is too many. Fuck the meaning of the power of 10. What's important is the power of when. When will we make them safe? How can we make them whole? Where can we point to a soft landing when every moment children drown in the quicksand formed from the piles of rubble they tried to whitewash with the sludge of political ideals? Their gridlock steel, forming shards of ground shaved shame and mixed with mother's tears to form the mud that fills the bomb craters they splash in. BINGO, bang, bang, run, run, go. Give them earplugs for their ventricles. Send crates of lead aprons for them to wear to protect baby skin from heavy metal tears. Send them toys because their radio flyers are filled with shell casing and concrete grounds, the compost of a dead country. When innocent chemically reacts with tracer fire to form jaded spirits with child bodies and old man's eyes, when they spin in the rain made of ash, wrapped in a shredded flag, home is a pile of rubble. Home is where the hearth was. Grass and blue sky, now a nursery rhyme, no longer life's paradigm. They swallowed down violence and mayhem like latkes and sour cream, and the birds trilled death wails, perched on monochrome heats of home and office. Future should be technicolor bright and full of hope, waiting for the Mr. DeMille of life to call them for their close-ups, but the only close-ups these days are a dusty monochrome beige, not artistic, just nihilistic. We took our greatest joy. What unites all of us, young, old, black, white, red, yellow, brown, from Antarctica to the Arctic crown, the love of children. We have cast a curse made of politics and quid pro quo, of greed and self-exoneration, and birthed a rudderless juggernaut of war devoid of any higher ideal than the imperative to push a button. We have made them a first-person shooter game in a video revolution where there can be no winner because children are dead and starving and cold and scared and hiding on cardboard behind dumpsters filled with chunks of building, hugging another child whose name they would never even know if we were better humans. Their future's so bright they gotta wear shades when the bombs rain down. Hush, little baby, don't be afraid. It will all be okay. Because I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. An army of the dead to greet the rising sun. Woo!
Fucking amazing
Yeah.
whisper.
That was a lot.
Maggie muted herself.
Wow. Thank you so much for those words.
So powerful.
Just amazing, Whisper Poet. So many great lines. The compost of a dead country. Oh my God. You cannot Reiki the heart chakra of the living dead. Wow, just genius work. So impressive. Really blown away. Blown away. Loved
If
it.
we were better humans. That's one of those lines I need to have carved on the wall. Yeah, it was so thorough. It's evident from the incredibly full resonance of your inspiration and all the emotion behind it. That's what makes the best poetry, is the inspiration behind it. I'm not trying to downplay methods like using a prompt and stuff like that, but I think it's pretty hard to deny that, when you hear a poem like that, you can pretty much be guaranteed this really incredibly high level of inspiration behind it.
Indeed.
Completely agree with Skiff. Since I learned code switching and it kept me alive for these 45 years of living, right? To be able to do academia, school, and still live the lifestyle of underprivileged and, uncles going into prison and family members who are killers and all of that. So I learned the duality. With your stuff, Whisper, like Skip was saying, people can do form. And there's nothing wrong with form. Let me repeat, there is nothing wrong with people who use form in poetry. I believe there's a problem when people who use form expect everyone else to use form just to give credibility to their poems. That part is what gets me upset about academia. But I'm in academia. So your part, like Whisper, you have this humanity thing, and in these brief blast of genius, you'll say some shit like Magus said, or like the simplistic beauty of your complexity. It is in your first and last line of that poem. Can you read me the first and last line of that poem again?
Oh, the rockets on the tank go thundering down, pounding down, firing rounds. Tonight on a continent across the world from the one my comfortable bed rests on are two little boys. They aren't brothers. They're brothers in arms.
And what's the last line? That start is just gorgeous. And how did you end it again?
I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. An army of the dead to greet the rising sun.
Super dope start and a killer end. You're kind of kick ass, lady. You're kind of kick ass.
Yeah, for sure.
Amazing,
Thanks,
amazing
CP,
piece.
for pointing out that element I think everybody here learns to be adept at and probably could teach a lot to other people about. And it's this thing about compartmentalizing, you talked about code switching and how many different times during one single day, during one single hour, a person needs to do that, and how we all feel very much more comfortable in a space like this where there's no code switching. You're just who you are here. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nemo and I talked a lot about this poem when I was brainstorming different things. And I said to him, I really want it to come across that I'm not talking about war. I don't care about war. I'm not taking sides on a war or political vantage points or anything. I don't give a shit about any of that. This is about children. And I hope that came across.
Yeah, big time. And that's why, so at a room the other day listening to Dane's poems and Mercedes, and I just had this overwhelming feeling that you know, somebody needs to go stand up in the middle of Gaza and Ukraine and speak those poems, you know. Call me crazy, I know, but that's kind of how it, you know, the feeling it inspired in me. The urgency to this is unparalleled, and it's the humanity that's just been completely lost in this.
The statistic that I read is that the estimate is between 30,000 and 300,000 children that have been impacted by this in so many different ways. So thank you guys for the space.
And genius move by adding the lullabies. Genius move, like to reiterate the kid essence. Shh. And then we have shit like the London Bridge is fall. No, Ring Around the Posies, Pocket Full of Posies, or whatever. How it's talking about Black Plague and death and all of that. Like the way you use lullabies, it fit perfectly with what you were writing. That's it. I'll let it go back to Magus.
It really drove it home for sure. Like, wow. Thank you so much, Christopher. You're a powerhouse. Mm.
Okay, y'all, I'm gonna go off camera and go cry now.
Okay. I'll be with you in spirit. Oh, so next up on the mic, we have Olivia. Olivia, you've made it all the way to the end of the show. It's your turn. We are ready to hear you.
Bless us with your magic, Olivia.
You're so kind to stay late, you guys. So I'm gonna switch it up a little bit, and I'm gonna practice trying to play my instrument in front of people. I have a show next week. I'm headlining an open mic here in San Diego, and the piece I'm most nervous about includes my guitar. So I'm gonna play my guitar for you guys because you guys are less scary because you're on a screen instead of sitting here in front of me. So I'm gonna do a cover. I'm gonna play a Foo Fighters song that I just really enjoy, and then I'm gonna actually try to do the piece that it's not exactly a song. I've been inspired by some other artists here who they do this intertwining of singing and doing verse and just cool shit. So I have a piece that's more experimental, and that will be my original, but my cover, I'm gonna play a Foo Fighters song. It's an acoustic version of a Foo Fighters song called Something from Nothing. I just love Dave Grohl, so. And thank you guys, because I found out how to do the musician thing, the sound, so hopefully you can hear it. But yeah, let me know. Like, can you hear the guitar? Yes? Maybe? Yes? Okay, nodding.
Yes,
Thank
it
you.
sounds amazing.
All right, cool. So yeah, this is my cover. It's a Foo Fighters song called Something from Nothing. Give me a flammable light, cold as a match, ready to strike. So here I go. Here lies a city on fire, singing along, the artists in a squad. So here I go. That's right, it started with a spark and burned into the dark. So here I go home. Here lies a river I found into the wild under the ground. So here I go. A button on a string, and I heard everything. So here so here I go home. Well, I'm something from nothing. I'm something from nothing. Okay. Oh, so much harder when I know you guys are watching me. Okay. I'm still like half crying from Whisper Poet, so need like the tears out of my throat. And then yeah, this piece is it's technically not a song. The theme of the show that I want to do next week is like, you know, about humanity, and kind of I want to drive home the idea of like our common shared humanity and all of this. And so this piece is called We Are More Alike Than We Are Different. Yeah, like I said, there's some singing, but it's also a lot of like reciting verse. So yeah, thanks for being my my practice audience. I'm still sort of piecing it or like finalizing it. So yeah, this will help me be less nervous, hopefully. Whew, okay. We are more alike than we are different. Our grief may belong to different names, to people who have left us in different ways. Some taken by nature, others by martyr, but somehow we still remain. Both caring and aching of love that has no place left to go. Because we are more alike than we are different. Our joy may have sprung from a variety of unique seeds, may have blossomed in different colors, been nurtured by different hands, been sung in different tongues from different melodies, some soothing our wounds or celebrating our innocence, reminding us that magic exists. Both of our souls have had the pleasure of such a dance. Because we are more alike than we are different. Our familiarity with love may be woven in a unique pattern with the threads from our own distinct perspectives, been sewn by the many needles that poke into us and away from us, the touch of a parent, the nudge of a pet, the one friend or the many, all connected by a strand that we have somehow come to know as love. Because we are more alike than we are different. The worst trauma we have each endured may taste as different as rat poison and chocolate cake, may have been inflicted by something as small as the edge of a paper or as large as the explosion of a bomb. But the fact remains that our bodies each have the capacity to feel a pain we never asked for. Because we are more alike than we are different. On the outside, we may be strangers, but on the inside, we all have a story. that if we took the time to listen to would reveal that I am not that much different than you, and you are not that much different than me. The names, places, and things, the flavors of love and joy and pain are all written in our souls in their own unique ways, but the moral of our stories remains. That we are more alike than we are different. We are more alike than we are different. We are more alike than we are different. Thank you. Whew. Okay, I did it.
Wow. Oh my God. Thank you, Olivia. That you're gonna kill that open mic. You're gonna kill.
Yay.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah, you're
That
You
was
should
gonna
go
incredible.
on.
Thank you for sharing that. That was incredible. I was so in that. I just love that so much. Loved it to bits. I can't say enough. I really, really love that. I don't know why you were nervous.
I'm still shaking. I don't play I've only played my guitar in front of people 2 times.
Word.
Yeah, I get really nervous.
Wow.
Like singing, yeah, it's new for me. I'm new at the music part. So yeah, so
Well,
I'm
you're
still like
damn good
shaking.
at it. You're damn good at it. No need for
Yeah.
nerves.
Build up our
Congratulations.
We're your proving ground.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
mind it. Just mind those nerves. You know, vulnerability is good, and just put that into, aim that feeling right into those strings. Putting that music into your poetry just gives so much more direct access to the emotions for you and for the people experiencing it. It was just really beautiful how you mixed up reciting with singing. It's a beautiful recipe. So I would just say keep cooking it. It's going to turn out fine.
Thank you, Paul.
Yep.
So Annie DeFranco. So Annie DeFranco. Like the whole
right
while
on.
I was
So
listening,
much.
like I was just hearing Annie DeFranco. Like I could hear y'all on tour. Like
Oh
that's how I felt it was. That's how I felt it was.
That means so much. Thank you so much. Wow.
Yeah, and don't listen to me, but don't lose this really ultra sensitive vibe you got going. A lot of times when a person has to get up on a stage in front of a room full of other animals to make noises, it's the proclivity is to kind of oversell it, and that's just not part of your style.
Yeah.
Thank
That's
you.
well said, Paul. I totally agree.
Thank you.
And my last bit of advice, it dawned on me that I've been in the poetry game a little over 2 decades. And I guess whoever did the book that said if you did like, I don't know, 10 or 20,000 hours, that makes you like like really great at your art or whatever. Like your style and what you bring, what I've learned early on, I had a world poetry competition, right, Olivia? And I make it to finals. Before finals start, like I'm a grown man in the men's bathroom, forearm on the wall, throwing up because I am so nervous about making this world poetry competition's final round. And after it was done, I told myself, don't run away from the nervousness. Don't run away from that pain. That's what makes you honest. When you lose that sense of I'm nervous, quit. Walk away.
Amen.
Well said.
Amen.
Just walk away.
Thank you, CP.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Amazing,
Yeah,
Olivia.
thank you.
The
Please
same
keep coming back.
chemical, adrenaline, is what our body uses to communicate both nerves and excitement.
True. Thank you, Nemo. I needed that reminder.
And he's a professor without a tenureship, so you know you gotta listen to Nemo.
Professor is my dad.
Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much again, Olivia. We are excited to watch you grow into something really cool. I can't even wait for your final form. Amazing. So last up on the mic, we have the Magus himself. Magus, could you bless us with some words?
I am so delighted to be with you all tonight. This has been one fire night of poetry. I am also mindful that we have been at this for 3 hours and 24 minutes. So I am going to forego an original piece and just read a cover. And tonight my cover is from Made of You by Stephanie Vance. This piece is called My Happiness. I think this really speaks to me as a bipolar one about mania. This is a spectacular poem. This morning, I woke up happy. My mind was all lemon drops and sunbeams. I could not figure out why. I did not understand this goofy grin on my face or why that first in bed stretch felt so damn good. I needed to understand because my happiness is a warning sign. My happiness is dangerous. My happiness has a tendency to take it just a bit too far. My happiness says to me, how happy do we want to get today? My happiness is a hop, skip, and a quantum leap to losing my damn mind. I have no love for happiness. I have no trust in happiness. What is happiness but a pit stop to a hospital bed? Don't worry, be happy is a contradiction in terms. I do not know what he was talking about. If happiness is that easy, I must be some kind of idiot. My happiness is just like me, never satisfied. It will not rest until all options are exhausted. Its tendrils winding into every crevice of my mind it can find. My mind is bound. I have found secrets of the universe in my own happiness. It is not exhausted until I am exhausted. I am never exhausted. Do not ask me if I am okay. Am I okay? Are you kidding? I'm better than okay. I'm better than you will ever be. Everything is completely, totally, monumentally, cosmically okay. What do you mean, am I okay? I am wary of happiness. My happiness is my own best enemy, what we all strive for, the harbinger of my blissful undoing. Of happiness, what then can I do? There is little to do but hope. I cannot spare any hope for some mythic future. I am using all the hope I have for this moment, right now, in the hope that my hope is enough to one day let me feel happiness like everyone else. It is improbable to say I have not given up hope yet. This morning, I woke up happy. I started my day. I took a deep breath and I said to myself, okay, here we go. Thank you. This is made of you. Incredible book. Thank you.
Thank you for
Oh,
that
thank you.
read. That
Thank
was
you
so
so much.
great.
Thanks, Magus. You picked a poem that just speaks to me so loudly. You know, when I was much younger, being happy is what would get me in trouble with people.
I feel that.
Amazingly relatable poem and a great read, Vegas. But
Yeah, definitely.
great
Thank you.
energy.
Thank you, Nemo. I'm gonna put a link in the chat if anybody wants to pick up a copy.
Pick up a copy. I recommend it.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored that I was read today.
Cheers. Okay, everyone. This has been a spectacular evening of poetry with dope poets at their dopest. I want to thank my co-host Catalyst. She is a genius and a goddess, and we love her very, very, very much. Everybody open your mics and open your hearts and say goodbye to each other in the way that only we as poets can. I love you all.
I love you
Good
guys.
luck.
Catalyst. Thank
Good
you,
luck.
Magus.
Thank
Thank you,
Thanks,
everyone.
Megan. Thanks,
Beautiful
Catalyst.
night.
Good night.
See you
Good
Say
night,
hi to
everyone.
Tom.
One.
Love you all.
See you next time.
We love you.
Chowder.
Night.
Say hi to Tom, the
Love you.
scandalous.
I will.